2 nights ago, the Hayes Larks pulled off an improbable comeback against the Oklahoma MVP to secure a spot in the NBC World Series bracket. And tonight, they will be looking to secure a first-round bye in their final game of pool play against the Lonestar Kraken. As we welcome you into the pregame show here on this Monday night here in Wichita, Kansas. Alongside me is Eli Blankenship, and I'm Hank Corsair. And after a regular season where the Larks showed how dominant of a team they can be, they've shown their grit in their first 2 games of pool play here in Wichita. When the Larks faced Seattle, they got an early lead and had to fend off a comeback attempt from the Blackfins. And then the Larks had to be the team that made a comeback attempt against Oklahoma after scoring 6 unanswered runs in just the 9th inning to keep their hopes of a first-round bye alive. And tonight, the Larks' opponent is a team that has pretty much done the opposite. The Kraken have gotten 2 run-rule wins against the MVP and the Blackfins and have made themselves appear as one of the top contenders in this entire tournament. But the Larks have faced some tough competition this season, and they have more experience playing in the NBC World Series as the returning champs. But it'll be an interesting matchup tonight, as it's the final game of Pool A and the final game of the night here at X Stadium. And only one team is going to come out with a 3-0 pool record and a first-round bye for bracket play. And our pregame show coverage will continue after this. We'll have a talk with Eli Blankenship, and then we'll take a look at our opponent breakdown. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Welcome back to Wichita, Kansas on the pregame shows. The Larks get set to take on the Lonestar Kraken in what will be the latest game of the season, scheduled for a 10:05 first pitch. And we're now pleased to be joined by Eli Blankenship. Eli, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing great now that my headset is working once again. This is 2 broadcasts in a row where I had to kind of fiddle with it to get it to work. But this is about the closest we're going to get to round-the-clock baseball in this tournament, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm excited to be able to call a game this late in the night. I'm a night owl myself, so this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And this is the 3rd game of pool play for the Larks that we'll be watching. And how about that game that we saw 2 nights ago against the Oklahoma MVP? They jumped out to the early lead that they would hold for the entire game until the 9th inning, where the Larks scored 6 runs in that inning alone and were able to pull together one of their biggest comebacks in recent memory to keep the hopes of a first-round bye alive.
Well, we talked about it in the post-game show, but if there's any team that could have pulled off that comeback in this tournament, it would have been the Larks, and they did that. And we talked about it even further into more depth in the post-game show about good teams win games, great teams win ugly games, and that's what the Larks did. It wasn't a great-looking game. It wasn't a great showing from the Larks, and even Coach Frank Leo said that himself. It wasn't the best baseball that they've played all season, but and he knows that his team is capable of doing more. But they came out with the win, and that was what mattered for him and mattered for the team in the moment. And that's what matters on the scoring column as well, because now they put themselves in a position to secure that first-round bye if they can win here tonight.
And I'll add on to what you were talking about. This is pretty much a new look for the Larks because they were able to get dominant wins over their opponents in the regular season, and then they come down here to Wichita, and they've been showing their grit as a team, winning these close game situations, which it's great to see, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking for some fans, you could say.
I'm sure it is, but I think that for every fan back home, they should look at the last 2 wins and look at those as promising victories as opposed to wins that were, hard-earned. I think that promising victories in the sense that the Larks really showed their grit. They showed their determination. and they showed that they can really go run for run with teams late in the game. And I think that is one of the most important things to take out of those wins that they secured, is that they can compete with good ball clubs. And we knew that coming into the tournament, but it was just a matter of how they were going to rise to the occasion once that occasion was presented to them.
And we'll take a look at the Lonestar Kraken here in just a second in our opponent breakdown, but this is another young program that the Larks will be facing, but they do have a lot of talent and experience that they bring to the table, and they've shown some great performances in their first 2 wins. Both of them have been run rules, and it's been against some tough competition.
Yeah, absolutely. This Kraken team is very talented. This is another one of those teams that kind of loaded up their lineup coming into the NBC World Series. They really loaded up that roster, so it should be interesting to kind of see how this team performs as a whole and as one unit. You know, we've talked about this before, but the Larks are one of the most well-melded teams in this in this tournament, and that's because they have that same core group of guys that played with this squad last year that won the tournament, and then on top of that, they have guys that they didn't add a bunch of players coming into the NBC World Series. They really have kept their same core group that they've had all season long, and they only added 1 or 2 players coming into the postseason. So I think for the Larks, that's one advantage they have over a lot of teams, is they have that camaraderie amongst their team that other teams don't. And so it'll be interesting to see how that can affect a team like the Lonestar Kraken that maybe isn't necessarily super familiar with one another.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what each team can do to win, because through those first 2 games of pool play for each team, it's practically 2 different teams, because the Kraken have been dominant with their 2 run rule wins, and the Larks have been sneaking by their 2 opponents as well.
Well, it's going to be one of 2 things for the Larks tonight. It's going to be either the pitching that's going to win them the game, or it's going to be their offense that's going to win them the game. It's one or the other, and it could be both, and that would be great. But I think it's going to be one or the other. And we know that this Lonestar Kraken team has a very high-powered offense. You can say the same about the Larks. The Larks have a very high-powered offense. It just hasn't necessarily been on display as much here in this tournament. And so I think if the Larks can get out to an early lead and really show their offensive prowess, they can really compete with this team. On that same note, pitching-wise, if they can show up and hold the Lonestar Kraken to a minimal amount of runs, I think that will also play to their benefit.
All right, it's now time to take a look at our opponent breakdown for tonight. The Lonestar Kraken are 2-0 in pool play so far, and like I've said, they've gotten 2 run rule wins. They first beat the Oklahoma MVP 10-1, and then beat the Seattle Blackfins, that game by a final score of 9-1. And through those first 2 games, they have not trailed yet, and they do a really good job of getting on base and getting strikeouts on the mound. And taking a deeper dive into this team, they play out of the 5-tool league and are from Prosper, Texas, which is about an hour north of Dallas. And it's another team that builds off of regional players, as 23 of the 28 players on their roster are from Texas, and this team's very experienced as well, with 9 players having at least 1 year Division I experience. Plus they also have 2 guys that are moving from JUCO to the Division I level. And it's another young program. Their first season was back in 2022, but they've had some great success in just a few years. This is their second NBC World Series appearance, and their first one was back in 2023, where they finished in 4th place. And in their 4-year history, they've had 32 Division I players who have been through their program, and 3 of their former players have also been drafted to the MLB. And their coach says that this year's team is what he says the best they've ever assembled due to the Division I talent on the roster that also features players from the top junior colleges in the nation. So that is a look at our opponent breakdown, and we'll have starting lineups for you when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network.
Join
Back here at Tyler Field, a.k.a. X Stadium, on the pregame show as the Larks are about set to take on the Lonestar Kraken. And we'll take a look at our starting lineups in just a moment, but here's a quick scoreboard update from the other pool play games. The Seattle Blackfins got a big win over the Oklahoma MVP in the first game today by a final score of 7-5, meaning the MVP are officially eliminated. After that, the San Diego Stars were trailing Dodge City, but with a walk-off, they were able to get the win by a final score of 11-10. And the game before this, the Seattle Cheney Studs defeated the Hutchinson Monarchs 9-5, which means Dodge City is eliminated from their pool. And tomorrow is the final day of pool play, so we'll take a look at those games. Those games will feature TPA Texas against the GPS Legends. The BTL Hornets will play the Derby Twins immediately after that at 3 p.m. The Junction City Brigade, who have already clinched a spot, along with the Alaska Gold Panthers, that one will be a battle for the first-round bye. That will be a 6 o'clock first pitch. And then at 8:30, it'll be the Lone Star Baseball Club against the Santa Barbara Foresters. So both teams will take the field, and we are about set for the first pitch of tonight's game. Making the start on the mound for the Larks will be number 30, Nolan Wilson. Start number 5 for him on the year. He's been very successful with the lowest opponent batting average, and this is also the second appearance for him in this tournament, as he came in as a relief pitcher in the first game against the Seattle Blackfins. But he's one of the top returners from last year's team. He had the most strikeouts in the 2024 NBC World Series with 17, and he brings a lot to the table with the experience that he has.
He is a very talented pitcher, and he's exactly who you want on the mound in big games, and that's what the Larks have done here today. They put him on the mound in a game that is very important for this Larks squad. They clinched that bracket spot after their last game, and this game is even more important because now you've got the opportunity to try and clinch that first-round bye, which allows for some much-needed rest for this Larks team.
Here's a quick rundown of the Lone Star Kraken's lineup. It'll be number 67, JT Simonelli, leading things off. In the on-deck circle to start the game will be number 1, Chase Penley, and batting third is number 45, Josh Livingston. The fourth batter in the order, the center fielder, number 13, Preston Curtis. After that will be number 20, Ethan Ho. Number 9, Diego Gonzalez, will be the designated hitter, batting sixth. Seventh in the order is the left fielder, Jax Marshall. Cato Ribardi will be in right field, batting eighth. And the final spot belongs to number 42, Kenner Lauterbach. So Simonelli will take a practice swing, and he will step into the left-handed batter's box. The sophomore from Jonesboro, Louisiana, that's committed to play Division I baseball next season at Northwestern State will await the first pitch. As Nolan Wilson gets set, he delivers the pitch to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss for strike one to start the game.
Starting it off with some heat there. That was a good-looking pitch there from Nolan Wilson, kind of setting the tempo early.
10:06 is the first pitch time for tonight's game. An hour and 36 minutes past what was originally scheduled because of some games taking longer than usual, but it doesn't matter. These are two great teams that don't care about the time. They're just trying to get the victory. As it's a 1-1 count to Simonelli as Wilson kicks and deals the next pitch, and he's able to find the outside part of the plate to make the count 1-2. Third game of this tournament for JT Simonelli. He's gotten 4 hits and 4 runs. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. Another one goes outside and missed the zone for ball 2. Here's the Larks' defensive alignment tonight. In left field is number 2, Trent Baker. Caleb Duncan returns to center field, and so does Lane Sparks in right field. Thomas Lissy is at third base. Jackson Babcock is at first. And in their usual spots are Tabor Stokes at the shortstop position and C.J. Reed at second base. And on a swing and a miss, the Larks get a hot start as J.T. Simonelli strikes out for the second time in the NBC World Series, and there is one away.
That's a great way to start the outing for Nolan Wilson, picking up an early K, a swinging strikeout for Nolan Wilson to start the inning, and can't ask for anything more.
Next up in the order is the shortstop Chase Pendley. He's the junior from Angelo State, and he will let the first pitch go by for ball one. Pendley played in 55 games this season with the Angelo State Rams in the Lonestar Conference. He currently sits with a 2-0 count. And he also comes from the same hometown, or his hometown is the same as the Lonestar Kraken location in Prosper, Texas. As he swings and misses, the count moves to 2-1. Nolan Wilson continuing to take his time, count 2-1. Here comes the pitch to the plate, and this one's going to be a fly ball. C.J. Reed will be the one that gets there, and close to the outfield grass, he makes the catch, and there is out number 2.
Well, 2 early outs here for the Larks in the top of the first inning, and so far the defense is looking pretty good in this first inning, and if they can keep this up, they're going to be looking real good going into the late innings of this ball game. As we know, this Lonestar team has a very powerful offense.
This is the first game of the 2025 NBC World Series where the Larks are the home team. So against a Lonestar Kraken team that has put together 19 runs in the first 2 games, it would be huge if the Larks could hold them scoreless here in the first inning. And now the Lonestar Kraken will turn to one of their most experienced players on their roster. It is number 45, Josh Livingston, the senior who played this last season right here at X Stadium for the Wichita State Shockers. But he's going to be taking his game a step above next season. He'll be playing in the SEC with the Texas Longhorns. He starts with an 0-1 count after fouling off the first pitch. And Nolan Wilson will deliver one again outside. Livingston lets it go by for ball one. Returning at catcher tonight for the Larks is number 21, Lorenzo Rios. One of 3 new faces in the Larks starting lineup tonight. And the next pitch goes on the low outside corner. Livingston watches it go by for strike 2.
Nolan Wilson in control of this at-bat. He has really all the control here with a 1-2 count.
We'll see where Rios positions his glove. Gives a signal to Wilson that he wants it right down the middle, and here it comes. It misses on the outside for ball 2.
Wilson wasn't quite happy with that pitch location where he put it. He knew where he wanted it in his mind, and he just couldn't quite deliver it there. He had the right idea, just the execution was kind of lacking there on that pitch.
It's an even count to the Wichita State Shocker, Josh Livingston. The pitch on the way and a swing and a miss on the inside corner. 2 strikeouts to start the game from the junior Nolan Wilson, and he retires the side. Lane Sparks will lead things off next for the Larks when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Larks were able to go 3 up, 3 down against the Lonestar Kraken in the top of the first inning and now have a chance to give them their first play from behind situation of this entire World Series as they'll send Lane Sparks, Trent Baker, and Jackson Babcock up to the plate this inning, facing off against one of the 9 Division I players on the Kraken roster. It is number 3, Logan Reed, making his first start of the 2025 NBC World Series. He's from Aurora, Colorado, just finished his freshman year at Houston where he was a redshirt, and he will be transferring to Midland Community College next season.
Well, the Larks had to play from behind their entire last game until they got to the 9th inning where they were able to break things open and have that 6-run 9th inning. But being able to play out in front is really a different kind of feeling. It's very relaxing for a team. It can really let them loosen up and play to the best of their ability. So we'll see if the Larks can't try to get some early runs on the board here and kind of allow themselves to loosen up a little bit.
The first pitch from Logan Reed lands in the dirt to Lane Sparks, starting the count off 1-0. Sparks coming off a 2-for-5 performance in his last game against the MVP. 2 doubles and 4 RBIs for him in that game, and he once again returns to the spot of the leadoff batter. Now 2-0 to the right fielder from Wharton State Community College, and he lets the next pitch go by for strike 1. We'll take a look at the defensive alignment for the Kraken in just a second. 2-1 count is on the way to the plate, and it misses the zone for ball 3. In the outfield for the Kraken, they will have number 56 Jax Marshall in left field. Next to him in center field is number 13 Preston Curtis, and the right fielder is number 2 Cato Ribardi. Sparks lets another pitch go by, and now it's a full count at 3-2. The third baseman tonight for the Kraken is number 42 Kenner Lauterbach. At the other corner is number 67 JT Simonelli, and number 45 Josh Livingston will be at second, and at shortstop is number 1 Chase Penley. Sparks fouled off the last pitch down the first base line, staying alive and awaiting the 7th pitch of his first at-bat. Catcher for the Kraken is number 20 Ethan Ho, who puts his glove on the inside, and Sparks does not take a swing at it. He's going to run over to first base.
Well, I'll tell you, what won the Larks the game in their last matchup was purely plate discipline, and that was a prime example of it right there in that first at-bat of the outing for the Larks, with Lane Sparks getting to a full count and letting it go right by him, not feeling like he had to swing on it even if it was close to the zone. He lets that one go, he gets on base.
The Larks only had 5 hits against the Oklahoma MVP, but were walked a total of 12 times, and that's what gave them the 9-8 victory.
Mind you, only 1 hit in their 6-run 9th inning. I mean, that's just incredible. It's a testament to how well sticking in there in counts can really change a game.
And Lane Sparks showing off his speed on the 0-1 count. It's called a ball to Trent Baker, and Sparks successfully steals second base. Number 32 on the year, continuing to grow that number.
Well, we haven't called Sparky's name a whole lot in the tournament quite yet, and I've been surprised that we haven't. But right here, getting out to a kind of an early aggressive strategy for the Larks, and I like that. I like that a lot. Lane Sparks always picking up extra bases for the Larks.
Baker leaves the next pitch upstairs, and it's a tied count at 2-1. Baker returns to the lineup after being the starting pitcher against the Oklahoma MVP. 4 1/3 innings pitched for him, and he recorded 3 strikeouts in that game. Reed kicks and deals the next pitch, and it curves into the zone, and it moves the count to 2-2. Reed keeps his arsenal pretty simple. He has a fastball that reaches speeds of 90 miles per hour, also mixes in a changeup and a curveball, which you just saw right there. Reed looks back at second. The pitch goes to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss, and Trent Baker will strike out swinging for the first out of the inning.
Well, the Lonestar Kraken certainly needed some sort of out to give them a little bit of insurance here going into the remainder of this inning. They've got 1 runner in scoring position with Lane Sparks on second. Sparks can easily score from second base off of a single, so they can't rule out the fact that just because he's on second doesn't mean he can't score in this situation.
Jackson Babcock comes up to the plate next. Left-handed batter against left-handed pitcher, and it's a diving play made to Penley, And he'll throw it to third base on a fielder's choice, and Lane Sparks will slide in safely.
Well, I'm surprised they elected to throw to third base in that situation, because if you would have thrown over to first, that's 2 outs. They're 1 out away from closing out the inning, and Sparks can't run from third base and score at home plate if they get the force out at first. So now they're in a really sticky situation with runners in the corners. They've got a runner that's only 90 feet away from scoring here. Lane Sparks will more than likely find his way to home plate here in this inning.
Sparks 90 feet away from home plate at third. Jackson Babcock over at first. The 32nd game for him this season where he's gotten on base. And there's still just 1 out as Brady Kreitzer up to bat. First pitch goes high and outside for a 1-0 count. Logan Reed goes to his fastball there, which, like we said, maxes out at 90 miles per hour. Just a short lead for Babcock over at first, and then takes a big leap after Reed comes set. And Kreitzer will get ahead 2-0 as he leaves the pitch inside. Kreitzer reached base 2 times in the Larks' last game against the MVP. One was from a walk, the other was from an error. And Reed will throw back to first base, and Babcock is back in time.
Sparky really thought about going home on that play right there. He saw him get ready to throw that ball over to first base, and Sparky kind of cheated his way over to home plate, expecting that ball might have gotten overthrown or whatnot, and he was prepared for it.
The 2-0 goes to the plate, and Kreitzer lets it go up high for ball 3.
Well, we talked about this before the game. I love the fact that Brady Kreitzer's in that designated hitter position tonight for the Larks. He's a very talented hitter, and I think that being able to work him in the lineup in any way possible is very beneficial for this team.
And he will get walked on ball 4, and the bases are loaded for the Larks. And it was actually a situational decision by the coaches because they're facing a left-handed pitcher, and that's why they decided to start Brady Kreitzer. If it would have been a right-handed pitcher that the Kraken decided to start, it would have been Wilbert Espinal starting in that designated hitter spot.
And people really don't always fathom how much strategy goes into the game of baseball. There's so much strategy between who's starting their pitchers, like what pitchers are starting as to, what pitchers match up well with each other in terms of ERAs and whatnot, and how they match up, along with the fact that how you work that decision into who you put in the designated hitter position, or how you work your lineup in order of right-handed and left-handed batters. There's just so much strategy that goes into the game of baseball that sometimes can be overlooked, and it's really interesting to get to analyze some of that, especially here in a tournament like this where you're playing a new team almost every other day, and so it really makes the strategy very different than what it would be in a regular season.
There was just a meeting on the mound for the Lonestar Kraken, but they'll return back to their spots, and they will face Lorenzo Rios, another left-handed batter for the Larks. Reed's first pitch to him goes off of his helmet, and there is the Larks' first run of tonight's game, as coming home is Lane Sparks from third.
Well, there's a very good reason why you wear helmets in baseball, and that is it right there. That one knocked Lorenzo Rios right on the noggin, and a good thing that he had his helmet on, and he kind of had a little bit of a little shake-it-off moment there after he got hit in the head with the ball, and looked over to his dugout and ran his way on to first base and taking one for the team. They've got 1 run already here in the first inning.
14th time this season that Lorenzo Rios has been hit by a pitch, and he drives home the first run of the game. Now up is Caleb Duncan, who will start with a strike in his first at-bat.
Well, Duncan, another player on this field tonight that is very familiar with Tyler Field and X Stadium as a whole. It's really cool to get to see those players that have played here for a good chunk of their career, at least in college, be able to play at their own home stadium.
One count now to the center fielder. The pitch goes to the plate. Duncan will lead the changeup inside for ball 2. The runner at third is Jackson Babcock, who reached on a fielder's choice. Brady Kreitzer at second through a walk, and Lorenzo Rios, who was just hit by the pitch a minute ago, is over at first. They'll all take leads as the next pitch goes to the plate. Just missed down low for ball 3.
Well, I'm really liking the plate discipline that I'm seeing here from the Larks so far in this outing. wasn't able to find the ball on that particular pitch. He was able to find the ball on that particular pitch, but regardless, they're not forcing swings at pitches that are somewhat close in the zone.
And another walk for the Larks. Caleb Duncan over to first base, and Jackson Babcock will jog over to home plate for the second run of tonight's game.
This is where we've seen the Larks accrue a lot of runs throughout the entirety of this season, has actually been through walks. And it's crazy to think that a lot of their games have been really primarily walk-heavy games. But you look at like a Jackson Babcock who's worked up so many walks in his season so far that's allowed him to really propel his team to victory in a lot of different games.
And already we're going to see a mound meeting and a pitching change for the Lonestar Kraken. So we'll step away for a moment and see who the new pitcher is when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Logan Reed, the starting pitcher for the Lone Star Kraken, will exit the game after only a third of an inning pitched. And the new pitcher into the game now for the Kraken is number 44, Spencer Kuhn, the freshman right-hander from Navarro Community College, working with the bases loaded and one out. And the first batter he's going to face is number 15, Thomas Lissy, the third baseman who was the player of the game against the Oklahoma MVP where the Larks had the huge comeback. His first pitch will go to the fastball. It's high and outside for ball one. Logan Reed did not give up a hit in the third of the inning that he pitched, but he did give up 2 runs and 3 walks and had 1 strikeout. And now Kuhn's second pitch to Lissy is going to find the inside corner for strike 1.
Well, I'm really not surprised that they've made this pitching change. Even though it's really early in the game for them to make a pitching change like this, they cannot risk letting the Larks get ahead by a lot of runs here early in this game.
The 1-1 pitch finds the zone for strike 2 to Thomas Lissy. And the Kraken will look for the second out of the inning. The runner at third for the Larks is Brady Kreitzer, Lorenzo Rios at second, and Caleb Duncan at first. Here comes the pitch, and it's a half-hearted swing by Lissy that goes foul, keeping the count at 1-2.
The Larks have made it pretty deep into their lineup now. They're already to Thomas Lissy, the 7-hole hitter in this lineup, so we'll see how far they can make it, if maybe they can make it all the way around here in this first inning.
With 2 strikes in the count, the pitch goes to the plate, and this one hit hard towards the Larks dugout. Count stays at 1-2.
Well, Thomas Lissy's seeing the ball really well right now. You can see him swing at the pitches that are there, and he's swinging at them. He's making good contact. He's just got to get it straightened out a little bit, and he's going to have himself a nice knock.
Pitch is on the way. This one will be put in play. It's a slow roller over to Livingston, who will toss it over to first. Lissy is out at first, but he's able to bring home a run, scoring Brady Kreitzer to give the Larks a 3-0 lead.
And he'll take that any day of the week. Even though that's a ground out and it'll go down as a ground out on the scorebook, a run still scores, and that's really what matters for Thomas Lissy. They've got 3 runs here in the bottom of the first inning, and that is exactly where they want to be sitting going into the remainder of this game.
3 straight RBIs for Hayes, and now Tabor Stokes up to bat with 2 runners in scoring position. And a meeting between the catcher, Ethan Ho, and Spencer Kuhn as they get set to deliver the first pitch to Stokes.
Well, you made a good point. Spencer Kuhn, actually a college teammate with one of our pitchers on our pitching staff, Adrian Nahar. It'll be interesting to see how Adrian Nahar can kind of help coach some of our players to be able to, understand and know what Spencer Kuhn may have in his arsenal.
Yeah, his arsenal is actually very similar to Logan Reed, except he adds in a slider that goes anywhere from 84 to 86 miles per hour. So it's a similar look, but he definitely is throwing more powerful pitches as we've seen so far. His first pitch to Tabor Stokes goes right down the middle for strike 1. The 150th plate appearance on the year for Tabor Stokes, the Ball State commit. And he'll swing and miss at the 0-1, and there are 2 strikes in the count with 2 outs.
Well, putting Tabor Stokes this far into the lineup, I think, is almost kind of a sneaky play from Coach Frank Leo. Tabor Stokes, a very talented hitter himself, averaging .354 on the season.
He batted second in the order against the MVP and is now 8th. And he leaves the next pitch upstairs for ball 1. Some of the infielders for the Kraken are going to play closer to the grass. Medium distance for the outfielders. Next pitch high and inside for ball 2 to Stokes. Count is 2-2.
Another thing to remember, Stokes had that 2-run homer to left field in the Larks' first game of the NBC World Series that really kind of broke the ice for this Larks team. So Stokes, a very talented hitter, to say the least.
This one's put in play. It's a hard ground ball that goes foul down the third base line. Count will stay even to the shortstop. Kuhn takes his time, delivers the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss, and there is the 3rd out of the inning. But the Larks strike early, and for the first time this entire pool play, the Lonestar Kraken are going to play from behind as the Larks take a 3-0 lead into the top of the 2nd inning. We'll be back in a moment. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Larks didn't record any hits in the bottom of the first inning, but they showed a lot of plate discipline and take a 3-0 lead into the top of the 2nd inning as it's the middle part of the Kraken order with the center fielder Preston Curtis leading things off. He's going to get a deep hit into left field. Rolling back for it is Baker, and he's going to make the catch for out number 1 on the first pitch of the inning.
So far, we've seen the Larks strike early in innings, especially on defense. So far, they've been able to secure an early first out, which really allows the Larks to kind of gain a little bit of confidence going into the rest of the inning.
With one out, the Kraken are going to bring up number 20, Ethan Ho, the freshman from Paris Junior College. Played in 33 games this season at Paris. Finished the season with a .313 batting average. He'll let the first pitch go by for strike one against the starter Nolan Wilson. This is the first start of him in the NBC World Series, but it's also the second appearance as he was the save pitcher for the Larks' win against the Seattle Blackfins. Now 0-2 to the catcher. And Nolan Wilson, who was the Larks strikeout leader in last year's NBC World Series, has a chance to get number 3 right here as he delivers the pitch. And it's going to be a fly ball that's going into left field, and this one's going to land close to the line, and Trent Baker will throw it back in as it's the first hit of the game for the Lonestar Kraken. That takes us now to number 9, Diego Gonzalez, who is in the designated hitter spot. Another freshman on the roster. He's from Amarillo College. Ethan Ho will take a lead off first base. Jackson Babcock covering the bag. And the first pitch is in the high outside corner for ball 1. Gonzalez has now made 10 plate appearances in the NBC World Series. He's altogether came up with a hit and 2 RBIs. And he'll watch another pitch go by. That one finds the zone for strike 1. After Diego Gonzalez, it'll be the left fielder Jax Marshall and then the right fielder Cato Ribardi up to bat as there's one out. And the next pitch is on the way, and this one's going to be fouled back, moving the count to 1-2. Nolan Wilson takes his time, looks for another strikeout. Lorenzo Rios has his glove low and centered, and the pitch goes to the plate. And Gonzalez is able to make contact with it as it's fouled back into the net, and the count stays 1-2.
Gonzalez was seeing the pitch pretty well there on that particular delivery from Nolan Wilson. We'll see if he can stay alive in this count.
This will be pitch number 5 right here, and this one's hit high in the air into right center field. It's going to be Lane Sparks that calls for it as Duncan ran over there as well, and the catch is made for out number 2.
Well, and Ethan Ho went about halfway, actually almost 2/3 of the way over to second base and tracked his way back to first base, but the right decision there from him to go about 2/3 of the way there, because if he didn't go more than halfway on that particular play, he had the chance to be thrown out at second base had the catch been missed from Lane Sparks.
2 outs, and it's now batter number 7 for the Lonestar Kraken with Jax Marshall, the left fielder, up to bat. He will start with a 1-0 count. Another freshman. He's from Weatherford Community College. He starts with a 1-0 count. He played in the junior college system, but he is one of those kind of under-the-radar players. He was a top 500 nationally ranked recruit in the class of 2024 by Perfect Game. It was actually originally committed to Houston out of high school, but we weren't able to find out what happened. And getting over to second now is Ethan Ho on a pass ball, and the count moves to 2-1.
Well, and Houston actually used to be in the American Athletic Conference with the Wichita State Shockers and just recently made the change over to the Big 12. And so I wonder if maybe that had something to do with it too. There's so many factors that can go into decommitting like that.
Marshall is ahead 3-1, facing 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Wilson deciding his pitch. He comes set. Watching second base as he delivers the pitch. And it just misses on the inside corner for ball 4.
That was really close to the zone there. It was just barely outside. I mean, just by a hair, maybe an inch or two outside of the plate there. almost snuck it into the outside of the zone. Nolan Wilson was trying to pick up that third strikeout of the outing, but couldn't quite secure it. He's got another chance here with Cato Rombardi.
He is a high school senior from Prosper, Texas. His real name is Caden Rombardi, but his teammates and friends call him Cato as a nickname. He starts with a 1-0 count, watching the first pitch go by. The runner at second base is Ethan Ho. Jax Marshall, who was just walked, is over at first. Wilson's next pitch right down the middle, and he finds the first strike of the at-bat. Wilson just continuing to take his time, and he delivers. This one put in play. It's going to stay fair. Jackson Babcock fields it and sprints over to first base, tags the bag, and there is the final out of the inning. The Kraken were able to get 2 guys on base. Ethan Ho had a single and got to second on a pass ball, and Jax Marshall was walked and stayed put at first base. 9-1-2 is up next for the Larks in the bottom half of the second inning as they lead 3-0. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium as we start the bottom half of the second inning. The Larks ahead 3-0, and C.J. Reed, the future Ohio State Buckeye, will lead things off. Facing off against the relief pitcher Spencer Kuhn, who came in the first inning in place of Logan Reed after only a third of an inning pitched. Reed only went 0 for 1 in the last game for the Larks against the Oklahoma MVP. He was walked twice and also reached on a fielder's choice, and he will start with an 0-1 count as he watches the first pitch go by. This is the latest game that the Larks have played this entire season. It's 10:41 p.m. here in Wichita, Kansas, as Reed gets a huge hit into center field, but making the catch is number 13, Preston Curtis, for the first out. And that'll already return the Larks back to the top of their order as they'll bring up the right fielder, Lane Sparks, who was walked in his first appearance on a full count and ended up being the first run of tonight's game, thanks to an RBI by Lorenzo Rios.
Larks had a very efficient first inning, and they saw the ball really well, exhibited some really good plate discipline as well, and were able to secure 3 runs. And so now we'll see if the Larks can't do that once again or even secure a few more runs or just a run in general here in this inning. It would be great to kind of add to their lead and continue to pad that lead that they've built.
Lane Sparks watches the first 2 pitches of the at-bat go by, and he's faced with a 1-1 count. After Sparks, it's Trent Baker and Jackson Babcock up to bat. And Kuhn's next pitch, going back to his fastball, he misses on the inside corner for ball 2. Kuhn, a freshman from Navarro Community College, meaning he is a teammate with Larks pitcher Adrian Nahar. He made 11 appearances and 2 starts for the Bulldogs this season, putting together a 4-2 record. And now makes his first appearance of the 2025 NBC World Series as the 2-1 pitch goes to the plate. He misses on that same corner, and it's ball 3. Sparks with a .497 on-base percentage coming into tonight's game, looking to get on base for a second time, but he'll swing and miss at the next pitch, and he's once again faced with a full count.
Well, it certainly was not a bad pitch to swing at. He had a good-looking swing, just couldn't quite find his way to the ball. It's one of the most difficult things in all of sports to do is connect with a baseball.
The wind picks up here at Tyler Field as the payoff pitch goes to the plate. This one's a fly ball that's going to land in foul territory, and it lands next to the indoor facility here for Wichita State, keeping the count at 3-2.
Well, Sparks put a lot of power behind that ball, and so I'm really excited to see him try to connect with another one just like that. That was a good-looking swing from him.
He had 2 hits in the last game against the Oklahoma MVP. Both of those were doubles, but tonight he has 2 walks as he leaves that one high and outside on Spencer Coons' changeup, and the Larks have their first runner on of the second inning.
Well, it all comes back to plate discipline. The Larks have been able to exhibit that early here today in this game, and they're seeing the ball really well against this Lonestar Kraken team, and it's paying off for them here early.
The Larks starting pitcher in last night's game, Trent Baker, will come up to bat for his second appearance at the plate. Team leader in RBIs with 39. Working with a runner at first base, he will watch the first pitch go by for strike 1. Trent Baker enters this game on a 5-game hit streak, looking to continue that. And on the next pitch, Sparks will try to steal second base, and he slides in plenty of time. And he is back in scoring position. Second steal for him of the night. And that makes it now 33 on the season, a team high.
Oh, yeah. Go Sparky. Getting that second stolen base of the NBC World Series game here tonight, and good-looking one at that.
The last pitch was called a strike to Trent Baker, so he's down 0-2. And Kuhn puts that one up high for ball 1. Sparks will take a lead-off second now. Playing close to the bag is the second baseman, Josh Livingston. And he'll make contact with this one as this one's hit high into the night sky. Livingston and Robardi will both run after it, and Livingston's the one that comes in from second to make the catch for the second out.
Well, despite having 2 outs here, they cannot relax too much here with Sparky on second base. Sparky is so quick on his feet and really is arguably one of the fastest players probably in this tournament. He has got such quick wheels on him that even on a single, he can score from second base, and I talked about that in the first inning, and they're in an almost exact situation as they were in the first inning.
With 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, the Larks will send up the hero of the last game against the MVP, Jackson Babcock, who came in as the pinch hitter for C.J. Reed and was walked and was able to get a run home to tie the game with the bases loaded. On his second appearance at the plate, he starts with a 1-0 count, fouls off the next pitch. Almost landed up here on the third floor with the suite boxes alongside the press box. But the count is 1-1 to the first baseman from League City, Texas. Sparks takes a big lead off of the red, white, and blue bags. And Babcock is going to face a tied count at 2-1 as Ethan Ho had to come out of his stance to prevent a pass ball. And here comes the pitch to untie the count, and this one's hit over to the shortstop, Penley, who makes the play, throws it over to first, and there is out number 3. C.J. Reed got out to start the inning. Lane Sparks was walked and made it to second on his second stolen base of the night, and 2 outs follow after that, and now it's time for the top of the third. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Kenner Lauterbach, the final batter in the Lonestar Kraken order, will lead off the top of the third inning as they play from behind, trailing the Larks 3-0. After Lauterbach, it'll be J.T. Simonelli and Chase Penley up to bat as the Kraken will return back to the top of their order. And Nolan Wilson will deliver the first pitch as it's low for ball one. Lauterbach is a redshirt freshman from South Arkansas Community College. Played shortstop at South Arkansas, but tonight is playing at third base. And in his first at-bat, he faces a 1-1 count. Nolan Wilson, a strong performance so far, has only given up 1 hit and recorded 2 strikeouts. Swing and a miss on the next pitch as a curveball misses to the outside of the plate, and it's a 1-2 count. So Nolan Wilson will go for number 3 of the night as he kicks and deals, and this one is a slow chopper down the third base line. Thomas Lissy is going to let it roll, but it's going to stay fair. Lauterbach will stand over at first base as he gets the second hit of the game for the Lonestar Kraken.
Well, it really wasn't a bad idea from Thomas Lissy to just go ahead and let that roll down the third baseline, because Lissy had no chance to throw Lauterbach out on that play just because of how slowly that ball rolled down the third baseline. And so Thomas Lissy's best bet was to hope that ball rolled foul in hopes that they would have to be called back for Lauterbach to give it another go.
So we'll see what the Kraken do as they've got their leadoff batter on for the first time tonight, and they're back to the top of their order with J.T. Simonelli, who starts with a 1-0 count. Simonelli is another player from South Arkansas Community College that is committed to play D1 baseball next season for Northwestern State. He swings and misses at the changeup and is now going to be faced with a 1-1 count. Pitch on the way. This one hit up the middle to Nolan Wilson, who fields it, throws it over to second, and double play opportunity for the Larks as Tabor Stokes throws it over to first, and there's 2 away here in the top of the third inning.
How about that? That was a good-looking double play there from the Larks. Nolan Wilson thought about throwing it over to first and then realized in his head, oh, I got a runner going to second. He turned right around, threw that ball over to C.J. Reed, was able to secure that catch, and then fired it back over to Babcock, who was able to convert on the double play. A good-looking double play from this Larks squad.
Nolan Wilson reached out, and with a 1-6-3 play, there's already 2 away in the top of the third. And Chase Penley, the shortstop, is up to bat, leaving the first pitch outside for ball one.
Correction, that was Tabor Stokes that he threw that ball over to, not C.J. Reed.
Next pitch misses low in the zone for ball 2. Penley had a pop out over to C.J. Reed on the second base side in his first appearance. Trying to keep the inning alive for the Kraken, team that has scored 19 runs combined in their first 2 games of pool play and is in search of their first run tonight. Wilson's next pitch finds the zone. Penley held back, but it's able to find the zone, and it ties the count up at 2-1. Jackson Babcock will come in closer to home plate, and the pitch gets by and moves the count to 3-1. If Penley's able to get on base, the Kraken will send up their top batter, Josh Livingston, up to the plate. Wilson's next pitch goes up to the plate and just misses on the low outside corner. Lorenzo Rios tried framing it, but it wasn't enough, and there is the second walk of the game for Nolan Wilson.
Well, with 2 outs on the board now, you can afford to give up a walk right there in that situation, especially considering he's only going to get himself over to first base off the walk. And so, you know, it's really no harm, no foul. You don't want to risk leaving something out over the plate to let a guy, you know, go yard on a easy pitch like that.
So the Kraken will try to start a 2-out rally as Josh Livingston's up to bat. Wilson just barely missed the zone on the first pitch, and the count starts off 1-0. Livingston, a senior from Wichita State that's transferring to Texas next season. Had great success with the Wichita State Shockers in the 2 seasons that he was with the team. A 284 average for him this last season, and then in 2024 was selected to the American Athletic All-Tournament team. He faces a 1-1 count now after a foul ball. And they're going to try to steal, but Penley will have to go back to first base as Livingston fouled off the next pitch.
And stealing in this situation is the right call, because if you can get a guy in scoring position and then have a guy secure a base hit, you have the opportunity to potentially score a run with 2 outs on the board.
Nolan Wilson will look for his 3rd strikeout of the game and first since the first inning. He was a part of the first 2 outs on the double play and is trying to be responsible for the final out. He winds and deals, and that one misses outside, and a stolen base attempt here for the Kraken, and just missed the tag. The throw was there, but Stokes just couldn't reach out in time, and they're going to give Penley the steal.
That was a beautiful throw from Lorenzo Rios. I mean, a really close play at the bag. That is such a tough call to make. You've got literally like half of a second to be able to determine whether or not the guy made it onto the bag before the tag was applied, and especially in a bang-bang play like that, it's so hard to call that one way or the other.
So the Kraken have a runner at second base, but the Larks just need one more strike to end the inning. As Wilson delivers the pitch, this one's going to be a deep fly ball into left center field. Caleb Duncan's going to be the one that tracks it down, and on the run he makes the catch for out number 3. Another inning for the Kraken where they were able to get a runner in scoring position, but they leave him stranded. And now it's time for the bottom of the 3rd as the Larks will have the middle part of their order up when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Larks still hold on to a 3-0 lead as we start the bottom of the 3rd inning. With the middle part of the order, Brady Kreitzer, Lorenzo Rios, and Caleb Duncan up to bat, facing off still against the relief pitcher Spencer Kuhn. This is Kreitzer's 2nd appearance at the plate tonight. He was walked on 4 straight balls back in the 1st inning and eventually scored the Larks' most recent run of the game. And he starts with an 0-1 count, watching the first pitch go by. As Spencer Kuhn continuing to use his fastball, he also works in a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. He kicks and deals on the next pitch, and it goes right down the middle for strike 2. Looking for his 2nd strikeout of the night, the starter Logan Reed had one of his own. And here comes the pitch to the plate, and Kreitzer gets a big hit, but making the catch is the shortstop Chase Penley as the line drive went right to him, and he's got the first out of the inning. Next up for the Larks is the Rice Owl Lorenzo Rios, who is one of 3 new faces in the lineup tonight. It was technically responsible for the first run of the game as he was hit by a pitch, and with the bases loaded, that brought a run home.
Yeah, and it was actually right in the dome is where he got nailed, just right in his noggin on the helmet. And very good thing that baseball players wear helmets. Otherwise, that may not have ended so well for Lorenzo Rios.
First pitch goes by for ball one to Lorenzo Rios. And he will take a swing at the next pitch, and Spencer Kuhn tried backhanding the ball, but either way he's able to scoop it up as he missed it and throw it over to first base for the second out.
I actually saw a Royals pitcher do that a couple of days ago, and I don't remember who it was, if it was Bubich or maybe Lugo. I don't remember who it was, but he did the exact same thing where he had to turn around because the pitch went right up the gut, and he was trying to turn it so that he wouldn't get hit in the face, turn it to where he'd protect his body, it hit him in the back as opposed to the face, and he just happened to stick his glove out behind him and managed to catch the ball. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Larks trying to avoid a 3-up, 3-down inning as the count starts 1-0 to Caleb Duncan. Larks have a 3-0 lead but are still looking for their first hit of the night. And there it is right there. Caleb Duncan, a line drive, goes through the gap between Livingston and Simonelli, and he will head down to first base.
Well, we'll see if the Larks can put together a little bit of a two-out rally here. We've seen it many a times this season where they've pieced together a two-out rally. They did it in their win on Saturday night where they pieced together a 6-run two-out rally in the top of the ninth inning that brought them back into the ball game.
Thomas Lissy comes up to bat to try to keep the inning alive. And the first pitch to the plate is going to be fouled over to the Kraken dugout on the first base side, starting the count off 0-1. Spencer Kuhn taking his time. Currently the pitch clock is off, and the pitch misses up high, and the Larks are successfully going to be able to steal second base as Caleb Duncan shows off his speed and gets over to the second base bag.
Well, Lane Sparks is not the only player on this Larks team that can steal bases. Caleb Duncan, another one of those really speedy players on this Larks squad, and there's a reason being he plays in the outfield. He's arguably one of the faster guys on this team.
Has yet to be caught stealing this season, as that right there for him is number 10. It's a tied count to Thomas Lissy at 2-1. With 2 outs, the Larks lead 3-0. The catcher wants to pitch right down the middle. Thomas Lissy takes a big swing at this one, and it goes back into right field, but Robardi is there, and it comes right to him for the third out of the inning. Caleb Duncan gets the first hit of the game for the Larks, makes it all the way to second on a stolen base, but the third out follows immediately after that, and now it's time for the top of the fourth inning, where the Kraken will be back to the top of their or back to the middle part of their order when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Larks hold on to a 3-0 lead as we start the top of the fourth inning, and I'll throw it over now to Eli Blankenship for the next 3 innings.
Well, I appreciate it, Hank. Preston Curtis will lead off the inning for the Lonestar Kraken. That first pitch has kind of a half-hearted swing for strike number 1 on the center fielder. The 0-1 on the way from Wilson. Swing and a miss. Low and inside on Curtis. Wilson got him to bite on it. Now no balls and 2 strikes to Preston Curtis, and Nolan Wilson's looking for his 3rd strikeout. The 0-2 outside for ball 1.
And Curtis is not going to be an easy guy to strike out. He's got a lot of experience playing baseball as a senior who's transferring to another Division I school, and he hasn't been struck out the entire NBC World Series yet.
The 1-2 pitch, and pretty much the same spot as the last one. Going way outside, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Preston Curtis. Curtis, a member of the Central Arkansas baseball team, a senior there and native of Flower Mound, Texas. The 2-2, low and outside for ball 3. Preston Curtis now facing a full count. The payoff pitch on the way. That pitch popped up and out of play. Will go over the top of the Lone Star Kraken dugout and land into the concourse. The Lone Star Kraken making some noise, kind of getting rowdy a little bit on their first base dugout side of the field, trying to support their teammate Preston Curtis. Wilson kicks and deals. That pitch low and outside for ball 4. It'll be a leadoff walk for the center fielder Preston Curtis. That'll bring up the catcher, wearing number 20 for the Lone Star Kraken, Ethan Ho.
And with the noise that their dugout made after just a walk right there, playing from behind, we'll see how maybe that momentum kind of shifts in their favor, unless the Larks can possibly even get another double play right here.
Wilson, the right-hander, will deliver the first pitch of the at-bat to Ethan Ho. That pitch is fouled away straight into the Larks dugout and snagged by a player standing along the fence. Now no balls and 1 strike to Ho. The pitch. That one right up the gut for strike 2. Had quite a bit of steam on that ball. Preston Curtis stands on first base, takes a small lead. Nolan Wilson will fire the 0-2. That pitch chopped to Lissy. Lissy fires it over to Reed. Reed firing it over to Babcock. A 5-4-3 double play. The Larks have 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. And they look to go 1-2-3 with the designated hitter, number 9, Diego Gonzalez, up to the plate. First pitch of the at-bat to Gonzalez is low and inside for ball 1. Gonzalez, a freshman at Amarillo College and native of Frisco, Texas. This is his 2nd game with the Kraken. The 1-0 to Gonzalez is outside for ball 2. Wilson shifting his foot and delivering the 2-0. That pitch outside. Now 3 balls and no strikes to the designated hitter. Gonzalez twirls his bat a few times. Wilson now delivering. That pitch missing the outside corner. Ball 4 to Diego Gonzalez. 4 straight balls to Gonzalez will be a 2-out walk for the designated hitter. Renzo Rios will go to the mound to confer with Nolan Wilson. We'll tap him on the chest with his catcher's mitt. and he returns back to the dish.
You'd have to assume it's just a talk to make sure that they're on the same page. They got the 2 outs thanks to the fielders, and now just need 1 more to retire the side because the Kraken, they can build some momentum if they're able to get some guys on base.
That'll bring up the left fielder, Jax Marshall, wearing number 56. He takes the first pitch right up the gut for strike 1. The Kraken wearing a very deep purple as their primary base color of their uniform with teal numbers on their jerseys. The 0-1 to Marshall. That pitch a little bit low for the home plate umpire's liking. Missing the zone. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Wilson pitching out of the stretch. The 1-1. Pitch low and outside once again. Now a 2-1 count to Marshall. Wilson comes set. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch is fouled away. It will go behind home plate, closer to the Larks dugout. Ball boy will retrieve it. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jax Marshall. Wilson getting the pitch call from Lorenzo Rios. He comes set. Now he looks for his 3rd strikeout of the outing. The pitch. Missing the zone just barely. Rios tried to frame it up. Couldn't quite get the pitch to work its way back into the zone. Pitch just slightly outside for the home plate umpire's liking. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. A full count awaiting Jax Marshall.
We've had different umpires, but they still don't like the pitch when it goes to the outside.
The payoff pitch from Wilson. Got him looking. A backwards K to end the inning. Nolan Wilson secures the 3rd out of the inning. No runs allowed in the top of the 4th. When we come back, it's the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. A new pitcher takes the mound for the Lonestar Kraken here in the bottom of the 4th inning. It will be number 4, Matthew Hedrick, the freshman left-hander from McLennan Community College and native of Houston, Texas. He redshirted at McLennan this season and is transferring to Tyler JUCO. And he's actually added to the Kraken from the Dallas Patriots, specifically just for the NBC World Series. This is his first appearance in the tournament so far.
Yeah, it's another player that the Kraken like. So they, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So it's another team that builds around a lot of regional guys, and Hedrick's from the Houston area, so you're able to get a lot of experience from guys from that area. So we'll see what he brings to the table right here.
Tabor Stokes will lead off the inning for the Larks. That first pitch fouled away, out of play, into the patio seating pavilion, where many of the upgraded ticket holders sit just past the first base dugout. A few youngsters chase down that foul ball.
They're definitely out past their bedtime.
It is 11:15 p.m. here in Wichita, Kansas at X Stadium. The 0-1 to Stokes. Misses the zone. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to the shortstop. Stokes batting in that 8-hole position, as we mentioned earlier in the outing. And it's interesting because it's almost kind of a sneaky decision from Coach Frank Leo to put him there, as he is a very talented hitter himself, batting over 300 on the season.
And we've seen the Larks do it this season where they bat him and him and C.J. Reed back to back.
The 1-1 is fouled up, or excuse me, not fouled up, but popped up into right field, and there to make the catch is Robert Lee. And that will be the first out of the bottom of the 4th inning. That brings up the bottom of the order with C.J. Reed, the second baseman for the Larks. The Larks wearing their very iconic navy blue color. Not navy blue, excuse me, royal blue. They've got kind of a white sleeve color with gray pants and white lettering across the front and on the numbers on the back. Reed takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the second baseman. The pitch. That pitch hit right up the gut. Smacked hard right into center field. C.J. Reed will reach on a single.
Just using the power, putting it right up the gap. And on just 1 out, the Larks have a runner on base, and now they're back to the top of their order, too.
Livingston made a diving attempt at that ball, but Reed just smacked that ball so hard that Livingston really had no chance to make a play on it. 1 runner on now in the bottom of the 4th inning with 1 out. And the top of the order for the Larks, Lane Sparks, the right fielder, up to the plate. The first pitch to Sparks, low and right up the gut. The count will start at 1 ball and no strikes from Matthew Hedrick. Hedrick, the left-handed pitcher, gets the call. He eyes down C.J. Reed on first base. Now the 1-0. Pitch a little bit low for the home plate umpire's liking. Now 2 balls and no strikes to Lane Sparks. Hedricks comes set. The pitch. That pitch outside, now 3-0 to Lane Sparks, who's reached base twice now in this outing, both from walks. The 3-0 on the way from Hedrick. That pitch outside, Lane Sparks will make his way down to first base for the 3rd time tonight off of a walk. That brings up the left fielder, number 2, and starting pitcher from Monday night's outing. Excuse me, not Monday night. Tonight's Monday night. Saturday night's outing, Trent Baker.
You got C.J. Reed in scoring position. You got Lane Sparks, who moves very quick around the base path over at first, and you got your RBI leader at the plate.
Certainly a good position for the Larks with just 1 out. The first pitch to Baker finds the zone for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to the left fielder. Baker wearing yellow batting gloves. The 0-1 swung on and missed. Baker a little bit behind that pitch. Baker now having to battle back with an 0-2 count. Hedrick gets the call. Now the pitch. That pitch fouled away into the safety netting. No camera to fix for us tonight. And the count will remain at 0-2 for Baker.
If we had to set up a camera, we'd probably just have one of us call the game and the other just sit down by the field the entire time because that's a long way down.
That is certainly a long way down. We're quite a ways up here, a little bit higher than we're used to here at X Stadium. The 0-2. Swing and a miss from Trent Baker. He'll go down swinging, and that is the second out of the inning for Matthew Hedrick and the first strikeout of the night for him. That brings up the first baseman, Jackson Babcock, and really hero of the comeback on Saturday night. Jackson Babcock actually was not in the lineup in that outing and came in as a pinch hitter and was walked for the game-tying run to come across the plate. That first pitch swung on and missed by Jackson Babcock. Now an 0-1 count to start the at-bat.
I really want to know if Frank Leo's thought process when he made that substitution was that just about everybody who was on base at that point had been walked, and then you send up Jackson Babcock, who is the team walks leader and shows great plate discipline, if that's what went through his mind when he made that change.
The 0-1 comes right up the middle. No balls and 2 strikes. Jackson Babcock, not only the team walk leader, but also the team hit leader. So really an all-around player for this squad, averaging .412 on the season, 47 hits, 34 walks. Very talented hitter for this Larks squad. The 0-2 outside for ball 1. Still runners on first and second. The Larks leading at 3-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. Babcock takes a practice swing. Now the 1-2. That pitch in the dirt. Reed will go ahead and go. He slides in face first into third base. He'll reach safely. He wasn't quite sure whether he wanted to go or not, and so Lane Sparks actually stayed on first base. C.J. Reed took a second to decide. The ball went behind the catcher, and he couldn't quite read it well based on where the ball went. Nonetheless, Reed will be now just 90 feet away from home plate. Babcock, the left-handed batter, awaiting the 2-2. The pitch from Hedrick. Swing and a miss. That pitch, apparently a drop third strike, will be thrown over to first base. And that will be the end of the inning. No runs allowed for Matthew Hedrick. And a nice inning for him will bring us to the top of the fifth. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium here in Wichita, Kansas, the 91st NBC World Series. Up to the plate for the Lonestar Kraken is Cato Robertley, the right fielder. The first pitch to Robertley finds its way into the zone, and Nolan Wilson so far in this outing has just been lights out. He will start out the count 0-1. The pitch to Robertley. That pitch inside on Cato. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to the right fielder. The 1-1 works its way into the zone, just dropping into that bottom outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Robertley. That pitch from Wilson kind of looked like it may have slipped away from him. Ball goes outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wilson, who has 3 strikeouts on the night. The 2-2. That pitch hit hard and fielded by C.J. Reed. He was able to kind of stop it with his glove and keep it from going into the outfield out to Lane Sparks, the right fielder. And C.J. Reed couldn't get it to sit in his glove, but made a sliding attempt to keep it from going any further than it did. And that may have saved extra bases for the Larks, as Cato Roberty will reach first base. A leadoff single for the Lonestar Kraken.
And that'll be listed as a hit because with how hard he hit that, there was really nothing Reed can do. The angle that he got to the ball was really tough to play, so the goal there is just to prevent extra bases.
Now to the plate is the 9-hole hitter for the Lonestar Kraken, Kenner Lauterbach. Starts the count 0-1. That pitch fouled way out of play. It will go over the top of the press box and into the parking lot. An 0-2 count to the third baseman. Nolan Wilson in command of this count. Wilson gets the pitch call from Rios. He comes set. Now the pitch. That pitch hit hard into center field. Backing up is Duncan. He's there to secure the catch and the first out of the inning. Runner will stay on first base. Larks now have secured 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Only runs coming in this game came all in the bottom of the first inning from the Larks, primarily due to walks. They lead at 3-0 here in the top of the 5th. That first pitch of the at-bat for JT Simonelli is hit hard into right field. It gets right past Babcock. A big throw from Sparks, and Simonelli will secure a double in what was just a absolute blazing hit into right field.
I actually jolted because I thought Jackson Babcock, when he lifted his glove up, I thought he was going to make the catch, but it just went by so fast. It rolled all the way to the 330 mark of the right field foul pole.
I didn't even have time to introduce the guy at the plate. It just caught me off guard. I jumped too just because of how quick he was able to jump onto that pitch. And so it looks like the infield, along with the pitching coach for the Larks, will have a mound meeting with Nolan Wilson. Looks like there's some activity in the Larks bullpen.
That looks like Dalton Campbell's the one warming up.
Believe that is correct. So it'll be interesting to see what the pitching order looks like for the Larks here in this outing, as they are trying to secure the first round bye and secured spot into the quarterfinals. The Larks infield will disperse from the mound. Lorenzo Rios will jog his way back to the dish. And now with 2 runners in scoring position, The 2-hole hitter, shortstop Chase Pindley, wearing number 1 for the Kraken, will be up to the plate. The first pitch from Wilson is hit into right field. Tracking it down is Sparks. He'll have a big throw from right field. It won't be in time. It almost was. Lorenzo Rios couldn't get it in his glove as number 2, Cato Robert E., was just waiting for that catch to be made from Sparks. And that ball almost nailed Roberty because of how close it was from Lane Sparks. A really good-looking throw from him, just wasn't quite in the right spot.
Yeah, I thought the tag was very close to being made. Rios just couldn't come up with the ball in time. A lot of heat on that ball from Sparks. Just when he went up to make the catch, he was kind of just holding back a little bit, saving up that energy and momentum as he was running up to for the throw.
So a sacrifice fly for the shortstop, Chase Pindley. That brings up the second baseman, Josh Livingston, number 45 for the Kraken. He starts out the count 0-1. The 0-1 outside for ball 1. Livingston wearing pink batting gloves along with a pink bat. In unison with his purple helmet and purple jersey. The 1-1. Missing the outside corner. Really close. The Larks faithful whistling their way next to the Larks dugout. A pretty good turnout for it being 11:30 at night here in Wichita, Kansas. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Livingston. The pitch from the right-hander. A check swing is held back from Livingston, and the pitch will miss on the outside corner. Three balls and 1 strike to the 3-hole hitter. The pitch hit hard down to Babcock. Babcock's there to make the play. He'll dish it underhand to Wilson. He steps on first base to secure the final out of the inning. 1 run allowed in the top of the 5th. When we come back, it's the Larks' turn to get the bats going in the bottom of the 5th inning. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium here in this late-night baseball matchup between the Larks and the Kraken in the third pool play game of the NBC World Series. In Pool A, the Larks lead it 3-1 as they look to secure the first round bye in a secured spot in the quarterfinals. Leading it off for the Larks in this inning is Brady Kreitzer here in the bottom of the 5th, the designated hitter for the night. Fort Hays State senior, who just wrapped up his senior season, will take the first pitch outside for ball 1. The 1-0 to Kreitzer. Kreitzer jumping out of the way. On the inside corner, it misses for ball 2. Two balls and no strikes to Kreitzer. The pitch. That pitch about at eye level for Brady Kreitzer, and it will miss for ball 3. Three and 0 count now to the designated hitter. The pitch. Right up the gut for strike 1. That pitch kind of an off-speed pitch from Matthew Hedrick. The 3-1 to Kreitzer. That pitch low and inside on Kreitzer. He will start the inning with a leadoff walk for the Larks. And that will bring up the catcher wearing number 21 for the Larks, Lorenzo Rios, one of 3 catchers on this Larks squad.
And on that last pitch, Hedrick went back to his fastball, trying to catch that low part of the zone, but give Brady Kreitzer a lot of credit reading the zone well and getting on as the leadoff batter.
Showed a lot of discipline there in that at-bat. First pitch to Rios. Rios showed bunt. Pitch goes straight into the ground. The play will be called dead by the home plate umpire. Hedrick, a left-handed pitcher, not allowing Brady Kreitzer to get much of a lead off of first base. Hedrick comes set. The pitch. Outside and in the dirt. Kreitzer makes his way to second. An easy stolen base for Brady Kreitzer on a pass ball.
Another Lark back in scoring position, and I thought that was kind of funny right there. Duncan got really excited that the ball went past the catcher, and then it rolled really close to him, and then he realized, oh, I got to get out of the way.
Duncan in that on-deck circle over there. Not really much of a circle on the field. He's just really close to the net. Taking some warm-up swings, trying to get his timing down with Hedrick. Kreitzer with a pretty good-sized lead now from second. The 1-1 to Rios. Rios shows bunt once again. And that ball just kind of hits the very bottom half of his barrel, and he couldn't get the ball to go forward. And because of the way the ball came off of his bat, it hit the home plate and bounced behind the umpire. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes to the catcher. Hedrick looks back to Kreitzer. Now he delivers. That pitch low and outside will bounce in the right-handed batter's box. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Lorenzo Rios. Hedrick comes set. The 2-2. That pitch grounded to the shortstop, Pendley. Pendley will not fire it over to first base. Rios turned on the afterburners, made his way to first base, ran all the way through the base. Kreitzer rounded third base like he was thinking about going home, and Pendley fired it over to third base. Thankfully, Kreitzer was able to make his way back to the bag and is safe. So now runners in the corners with no outs here in the bottom of the 5th for the Larks.
I'm going to assume that one's going to be listed as a hit rather than a fielder's choice, but with how slow that one rolled over to Pendley, that's how Rios was able to get to first base.
Well, and don't let Rios fool you. He might be a catcher, but, man, that guy has some speed on him. There's a reason being he was showing bunt there early in that at-bat. A fresh count now for the center fielder, Caleb Duncan. Duncan shows bunt. Rios is now caught in a pickle And he slides into second base safely. And it's almost like Pendley was anticipating that pitch to that throw from the catcher, Ho, to bounce in the turf. And so he actually ran up on that throw. And so then Rios decided, well, he ran up on the ball, so I'm going to just dive right into second base, and he did just that. Now 2 runners in scoring position with the center fielder and Wichita State baseball player Caleb Duncan at the plate.
I also might have saw this out of the corner of my eye, but it looked like Kreitzer was like hesitating to go home to try to throw him off and give Rios the chance to slide into second. But like I said, I think I saw that out of the corner of my eye.
The 0-1 to Duncan is popped up into shallow right field. Tracking it down and making the catch is Roberty, who will fire the ball to home plate and hold Brady Kreitzer on third base. A valiant effort there from Roberty in right field to track that ball down. He really had to turn on the wheels as he was pretty deep into right field on that particular at-bat.
Yeah, that was not the shallow outfield where he was coming from to make that play. He had to sprint to make the catch, and then he had Livingston and Simonelli helping him as well. Just a great effort.
Roberty secures the first out of the inning, and Thomas Lissy, the left-handed batter and third baseman for the Larks, comes up to the plate. First pitch hit hard into right field. Backing up is Roberty. He gets underneath the ball. Kreitzer tags to third. He will make his way home and make his way into home plate safely, and the Larks will secure their first run since the bottom of the first inning. They lead it 4-1, and Rios will make his way to third. He advances from second base. The Larks now 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth with 1 runner in scoring position. That'll bring up the shortstop, Tabor Stokes, wearing number 6 for the Larks. Stokes, a Hutchinson Community College Blue Dragon baseball player. And coming all the way from third base, a 90-foot dash for Lorenzo Rios. Read the pitch beautifully. Recognized the ball, got away from Ethan Ho, the catcher, and just took off down the third base line and secures the Larks' second run of the inning.
And he read that so well. He was hesitating at the moment, and then when the ball rolled forward and there was no one around home plate, that's when he decided to sprint, and there was no one stopping him.
1 ball and no strikes now to Tabor Stokes, who fouls that one away. Stokes, a native of Mustang, Oklahoma, averaging .354 on the season. He's secured 46 hits, 5 home runs, and 23 RBIs on the season. Stokes just a sophomore in college. He awaits the 1-1. The pitch finds the inside corner on the upper edge of the zone, and Larks faithful along with Tabor Stokes not happy with that call from the home plate umpire, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Stokes. The pitch. That pitch high at neck level for Tabor Stokes. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the shortstop. Hedrick comes set. Now the delivery. That pitch hit high into the air, into shallow right field, and dropping the ball into fair territory is the first baseman. Running it out is Tabor Stokes. He's safe at second base. An E3 will result in extra bases for Tabor Stokes.
That time it was just a miscalculation there by Simonelli going into foul territory, and then he quickly realized it was going to land in fair territory, and he kind of leaned back to try to make the catch, and that's always just a hard play to make when you go at that angle.
Well, it looks like they're going to make a pitching change for the Kraken, so Matthew Hedrick's day will come to a close. and we will see who the new pitcher is when we come back. Don't go anywhere. The Larks lead at 5-1 here at X Stadium. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to Eck Stadium, home of Shocker Baseball here in Wichita, Kansas. On the mound now for the Lonestar Kraken is Cade Iron, and that is a fun last name to say. I think that's one of my favorite last names I've ever seen on a baseball roster. I really like that one quite a bit. He's a left-handed pitcher, a freshman pitching at Weatherford Community College and native of Ponder, Texas.
It's interesting to see the amount of left-handers that we're seeing from the Lonestar Kraken, because in those first two games for the Larks against Oklahoma and Seattle, those were teams that I believe both of them only had one left-hander on their roster. So it's a new look tonight, and the Larks are doing really well against them.
And on that last play, that last play was actually ruled a hit for Tabor Stokes, as it was not ruled an error due to the extreme effort that was caused to make that play. The pitch to C.J. Reed, first pitch of the at-bat, is grounded to the first baseman, J.T. Simonelli, who will field the ball and touch first base for the final out of the inning. The Larks score 2 and extend their lead to 5-1 in the bottom of the fifth. When we come back, it's the top of the sixth. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the 91st NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to the home of the Wichita State Shockers here at X Stadium. Up to the plate to lead off the inning is number 13. Preston Curtis, the center fielder. He hits a ball hard into left field. And it was more left center field, and it was fielded by Caleb Duncan. He will lead off the inning with a leadoff single for the Lonestar Kraken. That brings up the catcher, Ethan Ho, wearing number 20 for the Kraken. The first pitch of the at-bat fouled away down the first base line, just past the Larks dugout. Nolan Wilson remains on the mound for the Larks. 3 strikeouts on the outing on 1 run allowed and 5 hits. The 0-1 is swung on and missed by Ethan Ho. An off-speed pitch from Nolan Wilson fools the catcher and secures the second strike of the count. Wilson comes set. The 0-2. Pitch outside. Gets away from Rios. Preston Curtis will make his way to second base on the pass ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ethan Ho. Wilson gets the pitch call from Rios. Comes set, looks back to second, now the pitch. That pitch missing on the outside corner. Rios makes the stop. The count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to the catcher. Ethan Ho taps the plate a couple times, twirls his bat once. Now Wilson comes set. The pitch. Missing on the outside corner once again. Tried to get Ethan Ho to bite on that pitch. Almost got the outside corner in the process. Now Ethan Ho awaits a full count. The payoff pitch on the way from Wilson. That pitch hit hard and fouled away out of play all the way over the top of the bleachers down the first base line. The count will remain at 3-2. Wilson tries the payoff pitch once again. Swing and a miss. Ethan Ho. They call it a foul tip. It is caught by Rios. And so Ethan Ho will have another opportunity here at the full count.
Rios' glove was facing down, so I'm going to wonder if they say that they dropped it.
The 3-2 from Wilson. High and inside on Ethan Ho. He will run his way down to first base. And now runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. And it looks like Coach Frank Leo will make the pitching change. He will point to the dugout, and we will see who the Larks will bring on the mound next when we come back. You're listening to the 91st NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium. The Larks make a pitching change. It is the left-hander, Dalton Campbell, the junior pitcher at Oklahoma City and native of Liberty Hill, Texas. This is his 10th game pitch for the Larks on 30.2 innings pitched so far this season. 47 strikeouts for Campbell on the season, a 4.34 ERA. The Kraken with runners on first and second. They bring up the designated hitter, Diego Gonzalez. First pitch of the outing for Campbell will miss low for ball 1 to the left-hander.
And Dalton Campbell, a returner from last year's team that won the NBC World Series. He was actually the only pitcher for the Larks that recorded 2 wins in that week. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this time around.
Lorenzo Rios will have a bit of a mound meeting with pitcher Dalton Campbell. Rios jogs his way back to home plate. Home plate umpire puts his mask back on. And the pitch clock starts once again. 1 ball and no strikes to left-handed batter Diego Gonzalez. Second pitch of the at-bat, low and outside for ball 2. Two balls and no strikes. The Kraken dugout getting pretty rowdy. The 2-0 misses the zone. Now 3 balls and no strikes to the designated hitter. Campbell comes set. The pitch right up the gut for strike 1. The 3-1. Misses the outside part of the zone. The bases are loaded for the Kraken. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. That brings up number 56, the left fielder, Jax Marshall. We mentioned that he initially committed to Houston out of high school and is ranked number 500 nationally in the class of 2024 by Perfect Game. He takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Dalton Campbell's going to have to battle right here because Jax Marshall has been working the count all night. 3-1 count with a walk in his first appearance and a strikeout on a full count in his most recent one.
The 1-0 missing high in the zone. 2 balls and no strikes to the freshman out of McKinley, Texas. The 2-0 missing the zone, now 3 balls and no strikes. Campbell will throw his rosin bag down behind the Wichita State W on the back part of the mound. Campbell takes a deep breath. The 3-0. That pitch high and missing the zone. And that brings in the runner off of third base. The Kraken are back on the board. And they trail 5-2 here in the top of the 6th inning. And pitching coach Keith Harper will come out to the mound, and it looks like no pitching change just yet. He did point over to the bullpen. So maybe, yes, there is a pitching change. So a pitching change already here in the top of the 6th. Dalton Campbell's day will come to a close. And we'll see who will come onto the mound next when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the 91st NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to Wichita, Kansas, here at the 91st NBC World Series. A pitching change made for the Hayes Larks. Adrian Nahar comes to the mound wearing number 17 for the Larks. The right-handed pitcher, native of DeSoto, Texas. And right-handed pitcher, junior for the Navarro Community College. The first pitch of the outing for Adrian Nahar misses low in the zone for ball one. Rios had a pretty lengthy conversation on the mound with Adrian Nahar before allowing him to get some warm-up pitches in. 1 ball and no strikes. That pitch chopped to the second baseman, C.J. Reed. He fires it over to Babcock. The runner from third scores. And the first out of the inning is secured. The Larks still lead it 5-3 now against the Kraken. One out, 2 runners in scoring position for the Lonestar Kraken. That brings up the bottom of the order, the third baseman, Kenner Lauterbach. The first pitch to him is in there for ball one. The 1-0 from Nahar. The pitch swung on and fouled away behind the left-hand side of the home plate umpire. Will be retrieved by the ball boy. Now 1 apiece for both Nahar and Lauterbach. The pitch. Swung on and fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Adrian Nahar. The right-hander getting some encouragement from the Larks faithful. Nahar comes set. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 on the outing for Adrian Nahar. The Larks faithful encouraging their right-handed pitcher. And it's 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. With 2 runners in scoring position, that brings up the top of the order, JT Simonelli, the first baseman. The first pitch from Nahar is fouled away. And Nahar has seemingly quieted down the first base dugout, occupied by the Lonestar Kraken. The 0-1 from Nahar. Fires it into the outside part of the zone and just missing it on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike from Adrian Nahar. One on the way from Nahar. That pitch way outside, missing the zone. Nahar adjusts his blue Larks cap, touching the red part of the bill. Two balls and 1 strike. Simonelli awaits the 2-1. The pitch from Nahar. Fouled up and away into the stands. Adrian Nahar untying the count and leading the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nahar looking to record his second strikeout of the outing. The Larks faithful clapping their hands. The 2-2. Outside, firing it over to third. Actually, it was a fake. He faked me out, too, up here in the booth. Lorenzo Rios. Didn't have Thomas Lissy holding the runner on third. Now a full count for Adrian Nahar. The payoff pitch. Pitch fouled away behind home plate. And the Seattle Kraken trying to encourage their first baseman from the first base dugout, making their presence felt here at X Stadium. Nahar comes set, delivering the payoff pitch. That pitch hit hard into left field. It will go out of play and land on top of the indoor training facility for the Wichita State Shockers. Nahar prepares to deliver the 3-2 once again. The pitch. That pitch fouled away, out of play, this time past the indoor training facility into the parking lot. Nahar awaiting the pitch call from Lorenzo Rios. Now coming set. The payoff pitch. Right up the gut. Strike three, securing the third out of the inning. The Larks allow 2 runs, but a crucial strikeout from Adrian Nahar, his second of the night. The Larks leading at 5-3 as we go into the bottom of the 6th. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the 91st NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Well, good morning from X Stadium. I had to steal it from Hank. Hank is in disappointment over here. It is 12:10 a.m. from X Stadium, and this is about as close as we're going to get to around-the-clock baseball. Leading it off is the top of the order, Lane Sparks, the right fielder. First pitch high and inside for ball 1. The 1-0 from Iron finds the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Iron comes set. Now delivering the 1-1. That pitch low and outside. Sparks will step back into the batter's box. Now 2 balls and 1 strike to Sparks. The pitch. Foul tip will go over the catcher, Ethan Ho. Now a 2-2 count to Lane Sparks. Larks faithful encouraging their right fielder. Sparks awaiting the 2-2. The pitch from Cade Iron. Swung on and missed. A forwards K for Cade Iron to start out the inning. One down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Larks lead at 5-3. In the left fielder, number 2, Trent Baker, steps up to the plate. Iron, the left-handed pitcher, comes set. Now delivering the first pitch of the at-bat. That pitch fouled way out of play into the parking lot for Trent Baker. Baker, the right-handed batter, taking a couple practice swings. The 0-1. That pitch also fouled away for Baker. Baker now going to have to be diligent here with a 0-2 count impending. No balls and 2 strikes to Baker. The pitch on the way from Iron. That pitch high in the zone. Missing the zone, that for that matter. For ball 1. Baker grips his black wooden bat with his yellow batting gloves. Now the 1-2. That will hit Baker high in his back. The home plate umpire checking on Baker. And now walking out to the mound to deliver the fresh ball to the right-hander, Cade Iron. Left-hander, Cade Iron.
And they've now hit 2 batters in each game of pool play, and for those first 2, they were able to get by with it, but now in this game, that's something that they can't afford. They need to get outs as quickly as possible. Especially
this late in the game, they've got 2 runs to make up. Here in the bottom of the 6th, they really can't afford to give away any more runs. And when the Larks get base runners, good things tend to happen for the defending NBC World Series champs. That brings up the first baseman, Jackson Babcock, who hits one deep into left field. Tracking back is the left fielder, Jax Marshall. That ball will go out of play. Marshall will open the large gate to the left of the left field foul pole and track down the foul ball and throw it into the Larks bullpen. Jackson Babcock, the left-handed batter, will start off the count 0-1. Lefty versus lefty. Iron throws it over to first base. It goes way past the first baseman. Baker's going to steal second. He's going to steal third. He's now 90 feet away from securing a 3-run Larks lead.
Big play there for the Larks, but it was also a crisis avoided as well because Baker thought that the pitch was going to be delivered, so he started running, and Irons threw it over to first base and just missed the throw completely.
Baker definitely lucked out there on that play, I think, with that overthrown ball from the pitcher. And I almost wonder if pitcher Cade Iron kind of got a little bit flustered that Baker went ahead and went on that pitch. The 0-1 high and inside on Jackson Babcock. 1 ball and 1 strike to the left-hander. Cade Iron comes set. Now the pitch. That pitch missing on the inside part of the zone. A 2-1 count now to Jackson Babcock. Iron kicks and deals. That pitch missing in the low part of the zone. Now 3 balls and 1 strike to the Larks walk leader, Jackson Babcock. Three one on the way from Iron. That pitch chopped foul. It will go over the top of the safety netting and into the upper sections here at X Stadium. Babcock now awaits the 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way from Iron. That pitch hit hard into center field. Tracking it down is Curtis. It won't drop into play. Baker will tag out on third base and stroll his way onto home plate. The Larks take a 3-run lead on a sacrifice fly from Jackson Babcock.
And in a game as close as this, all runs are going to matter. So while you do add the out, just that 1 run is going to make a huge difference as we go on into the later parts of the night.
You're absolutely right, and now I'm sure Cade Iron is not quite happy that he walked Trent Baker, because had he not walked Trent Baker, this could be a completely different situation with now a 3-run Lark lead. That brings up the designated hitter, Brady Kreitzer. Will play left field from time to time for the Larks. Just wrapped up his senior season with the Fort Hays State University Tigers. A very talented baseball program. Brady Kreitzer, the Hays native, played at TMP in his high school years. He takes the 1-0 inside the zone for strike 1. One ball and 1 strike to the right-handed batter. Swing and a miss from Brady Kreitzer. The count moves to 1-2. The Larks faithful encouraging their homegrown player. The 1-2 on the way from Iron. That pitch fouled out of play. Will land in between both the bleachers and stands and remain in the concourse. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kreitzer. Iron comes set. The delivery. Finds the zone. Strike 3. A backwards K to Brady Kreitzer will end the bottom of the 6th inning. The Larks tack on 1 more run. They lead it 6-3. When we come back, the top of the 7th, you're listening to the 91st NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to the home of the Wichita State Shockers. Caleb Duncan running just past the Shocker logo out in center field, and now I'm going to turn it over to Hank Corsair for the remainder of this game. In the top of the 7th inning, it's yours, Hank.
Thanks, Eli. It's time for the top of the 7th with 2-3-4 up in this inning for the Lonestar Kraken. Adrian Nahar, who came in relief for Dalton Campbell, starts the inning with a strike on the high part of the zone against number 1 Chase Pendley. He's 0 for 2 tonight with an RBI, sac fly, and a walk. And the next pitch moves the count to 1-1. That's the second appearance of this year's NBC World Series for Nahar, who pitched the 8th inning against the Seattle Blackfins before being subbed out for the save. And now 2-1 as he lets another one go on the outside. Mixing in his fastball, changeup, and slider in tonight's game. And the pitch to untie the count. It's the slider. It's a swing and a miss, as this one will get behind Rios, but there's nobody on base. The count is 2-2.
Well, I've noticed recently that this Larks faithful here kind of sitting caddy corner to the Larks dugout has really trying to encourage their pitching staff after the Kraken have really been laying on the screams for their batting.
And Nahar fields a ball that takes a hard bounce and tosses it over to Jackson Babcock for the first out of the inning.
And I wish we could do on-field interviews after these games, because it'd be really interesting to kind of hear Adrian Nahar's perspective of just kind of how the fans play into having some positive reinforcement after, receiving all that distraction from the Kraken from the Kraken dugout.
Count starts 0-1 to number 45, Josh Livingston. Mentioned he's one of the top players on this Kraken team, as he's committed to play for the Texas Longhorns next season, transferring from Wichita State. But so far tonight, he is 0 for 3. 2 balls he's put in play, but he was struck out swinging in his first appearance. And now he faces a 1-1 count against the McNeese State commit, Adrian Nahar. The right side of the Larks infield is playing in the grass. And on the next pitch, it's going to be a hard hit over towards the Larks dugout, moving the count to 1-2. There are 15 seconds left on the pitch clock as Nahar takes his time. Puts the ball down the middle, and they're going to call that a ball. Unless the home plate umpire said that one was just a little bit high. It looked really centered and close to the zone. But either way, it puts the count at 2-2. And Nahar kicks and deals, and this one is drilled deep into center field. Duncan's going to be the one running back for it. He will jump up and misses the ball, and it's a home run for the Kraken. Josh Livingston, on his first hit of the game, is able to get the home run and make the score 6-4 with just 1 out. The first home run of the NBC World Series for the Lonestar Kraken. And now up to bat is the center fielder, Preston Curtis.
I was a little bit concerned there for a moment. Caleb Duncan kind of came down off of that play. He tried to jump up and grab the ball and steal that home run away from him. And he came down kind of holding his arm or something, and he kind of had to put his hands on his knees, and it looked like he had maybe tweaked something or hurt himself, and I was a little bit worried there, but all smiles from Caleb Duncan out there in center field. So pleased to report he's all right.
Yeah. Also, I'd wonder if it's a little bit of frustration because he was sprinting to there. He got to the wall, jumped up in time, and so close to making the play. Count is now 1-2 to Preston Curtis, fouling off the next pitch down the third base line.
Duncan actually really just mistimed his jump. If he would have timed his jump just slightly later, he actually really had a nice chance to make a play on that ball.
Nahar delivers the 1-2, and a swing and a miss. He adds another K to the night for the Larks pitching, and there is 2 away in the top of the 7th.
Well, despite giving up that home run there, Adrian Nahar bouncing right back, securing that strikeout. A good-looking pitch there on the outside corner of the zone, getting the batter to swing. A beautiful-looking strikeout for Adrian Nahar.
He's got 3 on the night, and overall the Larks pitching has 6, and they just need 1 more out here in this inning. And coming up to bat is Ethan Ho. He will start the inning with start his at-bat with an 0-1 count. Tonight's game is the second one that he's playing in for the NBC World Series. He entered with a hit, RBI, and a run, and tonight has a hit and run. Now faces an 0-2 count as he steps back into the right-handed box. And here comes the pitch from Nahar. Swing and a miss. He gets back-to-back swinging strikeouts to retire the side in the top of the 7th inning and limit the damage from the Lonestar Kraken. And after they had that home run, we'll see what the Larks can do with the batting in the bottom of the 7th. It's Lorenzo Rios, Caleb Duncan, and Thomas Lissy up next. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. As we start the bottom of the 7th inning, Lorenzo Rios comes up to the plate for the Larks. And for the 4th time tonight, the Lone Star Kraken make a call to the bullpen, bringing in number 18, Bryce McGuire, the sophomore right-hander from South Arkansas Community College that is transferring to Arkansas Monticello for next season. His first pitch is outside for ball 1 to the catcher, Lorenzo Rios, who has reached base twice tonight and scored 1 run. The catcher will center his glove, and this one goes inside, moving the count to 2-0. Bryce McGuire played in 30 career games at South Arkansas, where he pitched in 60 innings, and overall came up with 52 strikeouts in those 2 seasons. And now this is his first appearance of the NBC World Series with the Kraken. Lorenzo Enzo Rios ahead with 2 balls as the pitch comes to the plate, and it just misses on the outside. Count moves to 3-0.
Rios seeing the ball really well right now, is in a very great position here to make his way to first base.
He'll foul this one back, landing or hitting a window right next to us. And the count moves to 3-1. I'm out. Did that crack a window or something? Because the crowd reaction was really strange. Or actually, it just fell down.
Yeah, a fan actually just threw it out of the balcony there, up in the suite boxes, and I don't actually know what happened. It hit a window that I can't see from where I'm at. But I'm almost wondering if that window was open, and I think maybe Rios might have landed it straight into a window. I don't know.
On that last play, it was a 3-1 count, and it was a ground out to Livingston over at second base. There's 1 away, and Caleb Duncan is up to bat. First pitch finds the zone for strike 1 as Bryce McGuire goes to his 4-seam fastball. And on the next pitch, it's a swing and a miss. 0-2 now to Duncan, who is 1 for 2 in this game. He's walked and also had a single back in the 3rd inning. Pitch goes to the plate as it was a sped-up motion that time for McGuire, and there is the first ball of the at-bat. We're approaching the 2-hour 30 mark of what started out as tonight's game is now this morning's game. Duncan leaves the pitch outside, and now it's 2-2 to the center fielder. McGuire looking to get the final strike. He puts this one down the middle, and that one will be called foul. And Duncan stays alive as that one was very close to being put in play, but just rolled to the right of the first baseline at the last minute, and he'll return back to home plate.
Yeah, it went out of play by just a hair, and did it right before it got to first base, and the first baseman, Simonelli, was almost there to make the play.
2-2 on the way, and another one fouled, this time down the third baseline. And Duncan will now await the 7th pitch of the at-bat from Bryce McGuire, the sophomore from Ruston, Louisiana. Duncan gets set. McGuire shakes his head no at his catcher. Goes full windup as he delivers the pitch, and it's outside, and it leads to a full count.
Great plate discipline there from Caleb Duncan. It had to be there for him to swing at it with a 2-2 count like that. He had to be so careful on what he's swinging at.
Payoff pitch goes to the plate, and this one a deep fly ball into left field. Marshall will run back for it at the warning track. He's going to back up, and he makes the catch just in front of the wall for out number 2. Caleb Duncan, who almost made that play on the home run in the prior inning, was just that close to returning the favor. I think that was probably like 3 feet, maybe even less away from being a home run.
I would almost say 2 feet. I mean, he was right up against the wall. His hand, his free hand was touching the back of the wall there and just barely missing that home run mark. I mean, man, what a swing from Caleb Duncan. I thought for sure that ball was out of the ballpark by at least 20 feet.
There are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Thomas Lissey's up to bat, starting with a 1-0 count as the ball gets away from the catcher, Ethan Ho. Bryce McGuire gets set. Going back to the full windup. This one goes foul into the net for strike 1.
Well, I see Caleb Duncan kind of giving some pointers over there to what looks to be that is C.J. Reed. No, excuse me. Number 6, Tabor Stokes, who is in the on-deck circle. Maybe giving some ideas on how to hit against Bryce McGuire.
And a line drive here by Thomas Lissig rolling to the center fielder. He's got a single, turns and looks at second, and will stay put at first base.
There's a nice knock there from the third baseman, Thomas Lissig. Drives that one into right center field, and maybe the start of a 2-out rally here for the Larks.
The player of the game against the Oklahoma MVP. He had 2 RBIs going up to the plate there, and he records his first hit with 2 outs. And now we'll see if Tabor Stokes can keep the inning going. The pitch is on the way, and this one goes over the head of Stokes. And Lissy able to go over to second base, not even having to sprint. He's there in plenty of time.
Lissy was doing a nice job of keeping his eyes up, his head up towards the plate so that he knew whether or not he could go to third. And wisely, he stayed on second base and not getting too greedy. And now it looks like the Kraken are going to have a mound meeting with Bryce McGuire.
They've made 4 changes on the mound tonight, so they don't currently have anybody warming up. You just got to expect this one. They've been able to fight back against the Larks, so they just need to keep their composure together and focus on getting that final out.
Well, I would be very surprised if we see another pitching change here tonight from the Kraken. But then again, with the amount of pitching changes that they have made, would it really surprise us to see one more pitcher come in? Because they put in McGuire here in the top of the 7th inning. Or excuse me, the bottom of the 7th inning. And so it makes you wonder whether or not they're going to let him pitch out the rest of the game or not.
Stokes takes a swing on a 1-0 count. A diving play made by Lauterbeck, throws down to first base, and it's not in time. Stokes is there safely, and Thomas Lissy thought about going home. He probably would have made it in time, but will hold back at third base.
Yeah, Lissy definitely would have made it there on time, and he's going to have a little conversation there with his third base coach who wanted to send him but wasn't quite sure, and then Lissy was kind of up to him on the judgment of whether or not he goes, and Lissy decided not to go, and we'll see if that's going to come back to bite the Larks, and securing that run would have been huge as it would have put the Larks up 3 runs in a little bit more comfortable position as opposed to 2.
The booth is going to rule that as an error for the Kraken, their second of the night. And C.J. Reed will start with a 1-0 count as the final batter in the Larks order. They'll go back up to Lane Sparks for the 5th time in tonight's game after this. 2 outs, runners are at the corners. Thomas Lissy at third, Tabor Stokes at first. Here comes the ball to the plate, and that one almost clipped C.J. Reed, but instead Thomas Lissy will slide in home, and he is safe as the Larks get back up to a 3-run lead. And on the pass ball, Tabor Stokes will also advance to second base.
Well, that's the way to make up that pass ball that he almost reached home on the last time, was able to see the ball passing, had his eyes up, recognized the ball was far enough away for him to make it home, and slid right under the tag. Bryce McGuire tried to be there to apply that tag, but just couldn't get the ball low enough to tag Lissy, who slid right under his glove.
Foul ball by Reed on the next pitch for strike 1. Still has that runner in scoring position over at second. And Reed so far tonight, he's been able to get more batting opportunities at the plate because that last game against the MVP, he was 0 for 1, walked twice, and also reached on a fielder's choice as well, scoring 2 runs, and he'll swing and a miss, or actually that's a foul ball. So Tabor Stokes ran over to third and will go back to second.
Well, Stokes would have had a stolen base there, but C.J. Reed saw the pitch, liked what he saw, and decided to take a hack at it, and so Tabor Stokes will have to make his way back to second.
The count is 2-2. It's the first time Reed has been faced with 2 strikes tonight. Here comes the pitch as Stokes runs over to third, and with the swing and the miss, that will retire the side here in the bottom of the 7th inning. But the Larks get back up to a 3-run lead with Thomas Lissy scoring on a pass ball. And we are now going to the top of the 8th inning where Diego Gonzalez, the designated hitter for the Lonestar Kraken, will lead things off when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. One run, one hit, one error, and one left on base in the bottom of the 7th inning as the Larks get back up to a 7-4 lead. And now we'll try to hold the Kraken right here as they bring up Diego Gonzalez to the plate, starting the inning with a ball on the high outside corner from Adrian Nahar, who returns to the mound for the 3rd inning now. He came in at the middle part of that 6th inning in relief for Dalton Campbell. Count is now 2-0. Gonzalez 0 for 1 on the day. He's had 2 straight walks, and the next pitch will hit him on the thigh, and he will run over to first base. That'll start the bottom third of the Kraken order now. They will bring up number 56, Jax Marshall. Jax Marshall is a freshman from Weatherford Community College that played in 35 games this last season. And the first pitch comes to him, and it's a half-hearted swing for strike 1. And actually, that is not Jax Marshall. That is number 0, Grant Nakuza, into the game now.
Looks like they've decided to change things up a little bit, trying to try something different to work their way back into this ball game.
Count moves to 1-1. Larks fans in disagreement with the pitch.
So they were saying that the pitch hit him in his elbow, which it did not. It was nowhere near his elbow, actually. He was just trying to – I don't know exactly why he thought it hit him, but nonetheless, the pitch didn't hit him. The Larks faithful were not happy that he tried to pull that one.
He hits a fly ball into right field. Lane Sparks runs up on it, stands in place as the ball comes to him. And there is the first out of the inning. I didn't know what happened on that one pitch. I was looking down, updating my scorebook, and I just heard some fans complaining about the call.
Well, and part of it, too, was there was somebody from the Kraken dugout that screamed, "It hit him." And so that was why the Larks faithful were even more upset about, him trying to plead his case that there was a hit by pitch.
Plate for the 4th time in tonight's game and starts the at-bat, with a ball. And the next pitch comes to the plate, misses on the inside. Rabardi is ahead 2-0. Diego Gonzalez takes a short lead over at first base, and then Nahar throws back to Babcock, but he slides back safely. Next pitch goes down low, and Ribardi is ahead 3-0 now. Nahar will take his time. Rios wants the ball right down the middle is where he'll put his glove, and there is ball 4.
With runners on first and second, Nahar's got to be careful here. He really needs to secure that second out of the inning to give him a little bit of insurance to ensure that there's not going to be any Kraken players that score this inning, as he's kind of on damage control right now.
In the 9-hole spot now is number 42, Kenner Lauterbach. And nope, it's another change for the Kraken. That is number 21, Major Brennan. A Division I player for the Lonestar Kraken, played his freshman year with the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. And he will leave the first pitch inside for ball 1. Next pitch misses down low for ball 2. And the next pitch will be fouled back. 2-1 now to Brennan. The freshman from Salina, Texas, that played 40 games this year with the Warhawks. Nahar will take his time as he comes set, working with runners at first and second. He delivers the pitch to untie the count, and it misses in the zone. Rios tried to frame it, but just couldn't get it.
It was just a little bit low underneath the zone for the umpire's liking, and Nahar couldn't slip it in there.
Here comes the 3-1 pitch, and it just misses again on the outside. Nahar puts it very close to the zone and just couldn't find it. And now the bases are loaded for the Kraken in a 3-run game with only 1 out.
Well, I want to take a moment to commend Adrian Nahar. He's really kept his mental fortitude in situations like this where he's maybe not getting the calls that he thinks he should be getting, but he's not letting it phase him at all. Just mentally and visually, he's really not letting it. You're not seeing it on his face that he's frustrated at the call.
Keith Harper will come out to the mound now for a quick meeting with Nahar. As for the Kraken, they're about to go back to the top of their order with JT Simonelli. And now the Larks are actually going to make a change for the 3rd time tonight. So we'll step away as they talk things over. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. For the second game in a row, Julio Ramos will come to the mound for the Larks as he comes in relief for Adrian Nahar. And the Kraken are back to the top of their order with JT Simonelli, who starts with a 1-0 count. Next pitch for Ramos finds the zone for strike one. Pitching in the second game in a row against the Oklahoma MVP. He got his third save of the year. And is now ahead 1-2. Using the fastball, puts it by Simonelli, and the count is 1-2. He's been struck out twice tonight, looking to avoid a third time. The bases are loaded, and there's only one out. Ramos goes full motion, and this one's going to be popped up, and it looks like it's going to land on the press box or go over it, actually. Count stays at 1-2. The runner at third is Diego Gonzalez. At second is Cato Ribardi, and Major Brennan is at first base. Here comes the 1-2 from Ramos, missing up high for ball two. On a 2-2 count, Ramos delivers the pitch and swing and a miss for the second out of the inning. So Ramos just needs one more out to retire the side, and he's going to face Chase Penley, the shortstop, who is 0 for 3 so far on the day. Only time reaching base was through a walk. And he starts with a 1-0 count. After Penley, it's Josh Livingston and Preston Curtis. Second pitch of the at-bat on the way from Ramos, right down the middle for strike one.
Ramos has set the tone early in this outing. So far, he has taken care of business.
He throws fastballs that can reach the mid-90s. And there he goes to the changeup, and it misses. Count is 2-1 now. Next pitch is a foul ball to Penley for strike two. When the Kraken got the bases loaded, there were only one out. And when the Larks made the pitching change, they're now on track to get 2 outs in a row. We will see if Ramos can get his 50th strikeout of the season right here. Here's the pitch as the Larks fans are clapping. And the fastball goes in the low part of the zone, and Julio Ramos gets the strikeout to retire the side in the top of the 8th inning.
That is a bad man. Julio Ramos coming up big when the Larks need him most. How about that?
Time for the bottom of the 8th inning now as the Larks will be back to the top of their order when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Kraken need to limit runs for the Larks in the bottom of the 8th inning, and to do so, they will make their fifth relief change on the mound tonight as they bring in number 6 Nick Feen, the recent high school graduate of Rock Hill High School, who is committed to Blaine Community College, will come into the game for his first appearance with the Kraken here in the NBC World Series. And his first pitch is on the way to Lane Sparks, the leadoff batter, and they're going to say it finds the zone for strike 1.
Well, 6 pitchers in one game is a lot. And there's actually a pitcher warming up in the bullpen right now for the Kraken, so there's potential we see 7. I'm just wondering how deep their bullpen runs, because they're going to be hurting for pitchers come bracket play time if they don't come out of this game with a win.
Count 0-2 now to Sparks. It is officially 1 a.m. here down in Wichita, Kansas. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's still tuned in, sacrificing your sleep to listen to the Hayes Larks, and special shout out to the fans here as well. They've showed out here in Wichita. And on the 3rd pitch, Lane Sparks goes down looking, and there is 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, and I'm just going to reiterate what Hank said. We really, truly do appreciate you guys tuning in to this broadcast. You guys make it possible for us to continue to broadcast the Larks and get to follow the team, and we get to bring you guys the best coverage we possibly can here from Wichita, and it's been an awesome experience for Hank and I both. So we really, truly do appreciate you all tuning in, especially tonight when you guys are losing your sleep. Some of you might have us on while you guys are sleeping. Who knows? But we really do appreciate you guys tuning in.
1-0 count to the second batter in the Larks order, Trent Baker, as he's ahead with 2 balls now as the pitch misses from Nick Feen, who has a somewhat traditional arsenal. He has the fastball, slider, and changeup, but he also mixes in a sweeper that goes between 75 and 77 miles per hour. .3-0 count to the left fielder, stepping back into the box. Waving his bat above his head, and the pitch misses on the outside for ball 4. Trent Baker will head over to first base, and we'll see if the Larks can get the rally going with 1 out, trying to get some insurance runs. And there's going to be a meeting here now by the Kraken.
Well, I'll tell you, the last time the Larks scored a run, it was off of a walk that Trent Baker was able to secure. And Trent Baker made his way all the way from first base all the way home on that 1 walk. So that walk may seem insignificant right now, but it could come back to play a major factor here in the outcome of this ball game, as the Larks have a 3-run lead right now and could make it 4 if they can get Trent Baker back home to score.
Third in the order is Jackson Babcock working with Baker at first base. The catcher, Ethan Ho, wants it low and outside. This one goes centered, and fielding it is the first baseman, Simonelli, but he actually went behind the line, and the count's going to start off 0-1. I think the fielders for the Kraken were in disagreement with the first base umpire. They thought that one went fair.
From my perspective, it looked like Simonelli fielded that ball in fair territory. I think he kept both of his feet on the fair side of the line, but the first base umpire had a better angle on it than I did from all the way up here in the press box, so it's hard to say what actually happened on that play.
Well, it looked like his feet actually landed on the bag, so it's tough to tell. 0-1 now to Babcock, stealing second base is Trent Baker, and he slides in safely. First steal of the night for Trent Baker. He's now got 7 steals in his last 4 games in the lineup. And he's in scoring position for Babcock to work with. He's already got 1 RBI tonight as well as a run. And Baker's going to try to steal again on a 1-1 count. 4 straight multi-steal games for the junior Trent Baker.
Getting a pretty aggressive high five there from his third base coach. He's just 90 feet away from securing a 4-run lead for this Larks team.
Tied count now to Babcock against the high school senior Nick Feen out of Prosper, Texas. And here comes the pitch. Low and inside for ball 3. Babcock will tap his bat on home plate one time and get set for the pitch. Feen kicks and deals, and this one bounces off the catcher's glove. But either way, that is ball 4 to Jackson Babcock, and he will walk over to first base. Second time he's reached tonight. And the Larks have runners at the corners with only 1 out, and there's going to be a pinch hitter into the game. Brady Kreitzer started the game. The guy who would have started the game if Lonestar started a right-handed pitcher, Wilbert Espinal, comes into the game as the designated hitter.
I think this is a great decision here for Frank Leo to make at this stage of the game. You want to secure some more runs onto the board, some insurance runs, if you will. And now putting Wilbert Espinal up against a right-hander is really a tactical move here to allow the Larks a kind of a better matchup, if you will.
It's a left-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. As Feen delivers the pitch, it's going to find the zone for strike 1. Feen holds the ball behind his back, comes set, and here's the pitch. The fastball goes high and inside for ball 1 as Wilbert Espinal had to lift his arms a little bit to avoid getting hit. We have officially passed the 3-hour mark of tonight's game. This game started at 10:06. It is currently 1:06. And on the 1-1 count, Espinal watches it go by for strike 2. Trent Baker takes a lead at third. Babcock will take a decent-sized lead over at first. And here's the pitch on the 1-2 count, swing and a miss. And there is the second strikeout of the inning, and there's 2 away as Lorenzo Rios will be up next for the Larks. We'll see if the catcher can keep the inning alive. Rios was the leadoff batter in the prior inning. So far, he has faced every pitcher and will foul this one into the bullpen for the Kraken and start the count off 0-1.
That was a good-looking hack there from Lorenzo Rios. Just couldn't quite get it to straighten out. It kind of sliced out of play, landing in the Kraken bullpen. But, man, he almost had himself a single going down the first base line.
The 0-1 pitch misses inside. And Rios takes a swing at it, and the count is now 0-2. Larks trying to keep the inning alive to get some insurance runs. And Babcock will try to steal second base, but it's a swing and a miss there by Rios, and that will retire the side. Larks need 3 outs to win. The Kraken need 3 runs to keep the game alive. We will have the conclusion of tonight's game for you when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Larks lead 7-4 to start the top of the 9th inning and need 3 outs to win it. Julio Ramos will go for save number 4 on the year as he faces off against Josh Livingston to start the inning. The batter that had the first home run of the NBC World Series for the Kraken will start with an 0-1 count in this at-bat. The Larks, in response, will play their outfield a little bit deeper. And they also made a change at first base. Coming in for Jackson Babcock is number 25, Paul Smith. And the count moves to 1-1 as Livingston leaves the next pitch upstairs. Livingston holds his bat above his head in his stance. And again, watches another pitch go up high for ball 2. After Livingston, it's Preston Curtis and Ethan Ho up for the Kraken. And there is ball 3, just missing the zone once again. This is the Kraken's second ever appearance in the NBC World Series, trying to go for the first round bye. And on ball 4, Josh Livingston is going to head over to first base. Even though the Larks didn't get the insurance runs that they would have wanted in that prior inning, they're still in a very comfortable position right now, so Julio just needs to put that last appearance there by Josh Livingston behind him and focus on the next 3 outs.
Julio Ramos is a pitcher that is not easily shaken and not easily deterred. I don't see that affecting his performance here for the remainder of this outing.
Pop fly here for Preston Curtis. C.J. Reed goes into the grass, gets under it, and he's got the catch for out number 1.
Well, that out right there, I'm sure, is very encouraging for Julio as he's now just 2 outs away from closing this one out. And picking up a save for that matter.
Ethan Ho is 1 for 3 on the day, coming up to bat. His last appearance was a swinging strikeout. He's going to foul off the first pitch, starting the count off 0-1. A new ball will be thrown in to Ramos on the mound. The runner at first base, Josh Livingston, takes a lead, and then they'll throw it back over to first. Paul Smith couldn't tag him in time as he slides back safely. Diego Gonzalez is the designated hitter on deck. There is 1 strike to Ethan Ho. And then the ball gets delivered low and inside, moving the count to 1-1. Ramos takes a look back at first base. Ethan Ho continuing to take the big leads. As the next pitch goes to the plate, this one's going to be popped up, going over the press box. There is now 2 strikes in the count.
Well, I'm still waiting for a ball to come up in here into the press box. Apparently, the game before us, there was a ball that hit the window of where I'm sitting, so I'm still eagerly awaiting up here.
The many Larks fans in attendance for a 1 a.m. game will encourage Julio as he delivers the 1-2, and it misses on the high outside corner. Ethan Ho almost decided to swing at it, but held back just enough for ball 2.
He looked really hard at that one. He thought about it, just didn't quite take a hack on it. He pulled himself back just at the last second.
Another throw back to first base. Paul Smith tried to get the tag, but Livingston, the future Texas Longhorn, is back safely. And on the next pitch, it's a deep fly ball into center field. Caleb Duncan will run back for it and makes the catch for out number 2.
Larks just 1 out away now from closing this sucker out. Julio Ramos has got to feel real good about his performance so far. After coming in, the Larks needed him the most, and securing some pretty crucial strikeouts for them.
The game is all in the hands now for Diego Gonzalez for the Kraken. He's got a runner at first base, but there are 2 outs. The first pitch is on the way, right down the middle. Julio Ramos going to the fastball, gets strike 1. Gonzalez entered this game with a hit and 2 RBIs. So far tonight, he's been walked 2 times and also been hit by a pitch. And the next one in the high inside corner, Julio Ramos finding the zone, and it's 0-2. And here comes the unison clapping from the Larks faithful. Here's the pitch, and this one is flied back over the press box. Went in our trajectory, just the launch angle was not in our favor that time.
Oh, man, almost. It was. I was able to look at that one dead in the eyes. I was ready to grab it.
Still 2 strikes after Gonzalez fouled that last one off. He has not been struck out tonight. The one time he got out was a fly ball to right field. Ramos kicks and deals, and this one's a fly ball. Tabor Stokes runs back for it, makes a diving catch, and he's got it. And the Larks will have a first-round bye in the 2025 NBC World Series. An incredible catch by Tabor Stokes to end the game. They win it 7-4 against the Lonestar Kraken and extend their winning streak to 16 games.
Well, a heck of a way to end the ball game there, securing that fly ball, jumping catch, leaping over, and just reaching out with that glove, extending the arm, and coming down with the catch. What a way to close it out, and a great start to the NBC World Series for the defending champs.
The Larks just need 3 wins now to get back-to-back NBC World Series titles, but for now, they will have 2 straight days off and will have a guaranteed spot in the quarterfinals. We'll have our post tonight by a final score of 7-4. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Back here at X Stadium at 1:19 a.m. here on the postgame shows, the Larks get the win 7-4, going a perfect 3-0 in pool play and have a guaranteed first-round bye. And it was a great performance. They led start to finish this time and didn't hold anything back. They faced a very good Lonestar Kraken team that, despite this being their second appearance ever in the NBC World Series, is a very tough team that is going to pose a threat to anybody in bracket play.
Well, we knew coming into this matchup that it was going to be a tough game from start to finish. The Larks were able to. I apologize. Having some technical difficulties with the mic. We're good now, but the Larks were able to apply the pressure from start to finish. They kept their foot on the gas pedal, and that was what the key to their success was tonight. it all started from Nolan Wilson. It really translated from the pitching side of things. He really was able to keep the game moving at a very nice pace while also adding some energy and some life to this Larks team. And from there, the Larks took off. They had an excellent outing from really, like I said, from start to finish. The first inning, they put 3 runs on the board, and they didn't look back from there. Securing a 3-run victory, the Larks looked really great against a very talented ball club.
And I'm going to add on to what you just said that through this first 2 games, the Larks have showed grit. You could technically say that this was kind of like the regular season for the Larks, where they jump out to that early lead, the pitching does their part, and then it translates over to the bats because Nolan Wilson had a strong start in that first inning and was able to fend off the batting from the Kraken in the earlier parts of the game, and then the batting did their part as well, and it led to a big win.
Oh, for sure. And we talked about this before the game, but after that first inning, I looked over to you and I said, this is 1,000,000% a different team than we've seen all season long. Or, excuse me, not all season long, but all tournament long. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that they were the home team. And I as silly as it sounds, having that home advantage, so to speak, really helps a team out mentally. It kind of lets them build some momentum on defense before they take the batter's box, and it really did help. And they showed a lot of great plate discipline here tonight at X Stadium, and I was quite impressed after having to bounce back from a performance that they weren't necessarily super happy with. They secured the win, but head coach Frank Leo said it wasn't their best baseball they played that night, and I think they knew that. And so coming into this ball game, they knew they had to perform at their highest level that they could, and they did just that. They performed quite well, and I think that the Larks can leave the X Stadium and leave pool play very happy.
It's now time for bracket play now, and again, the Larks are defending champs, so they're going to have that target on their back. They just need 3 wins, though, to secure back-to-back titles and bring another trophy home to Larks Park. It's going to be very interesting to watch just because we saw those first 2 games where they had to battle in close games, and here tonight as well, but they jumped out to the early lead. And it's all I can say is it's going to be a fun watch here over these next few days.
It is exciting to know that the Larks are in the bracket to compete for another NBC World Series title. They had a very talented ball club last season. They have a very talented ball club this season. They've got a very similar core group of guys that have held together this team, and because of that, they have been able to really build on the chemistry that they built last year and transfer that into this season. And we've seen it time and time again where this squad has really risen to the occasion, and they've done that in their pool play, and I'm really excited to see them continue to do that in their bracket play.
It's going to be fun, and that's going to do it for our coverage of tonight's game as the Larks go 3-0 in pool play. They had the first round bye. The seeding is a little bit confusing, so we don't know exactly who the Larks are going to be playing right now, but for now they are 31-4-1 now on the year, and the Kraken finished 2-1 in pool play, so they will be the 2 seed of Pool A, and they will go up against a 3 seed from a different pool. A quick rundown at the final team numbers. The Larks had 7 runs compared to the Kraken's 4. The Kraken actually out-hit the Larks again 6-5, and the Larks were able to take advantage of 2 errors committed. And the pitching tonight had 9 strikeouts overall for the Larks as they get the win. So thank you all again for tuning into tonight's broadcast, especially this one because it is currently 1:24 a.m. We really appreciate you guys sticking around and following along with us in the broadcast tonight. So we'll have an earlier game next time, so that's going to do it for our coverage of tonight's game. And I'm Hank Corsair, and alongside me tonight was Eli Blankenship. And we hope you all have a great rest of your morning or sleep, that is.
Sweet dreams, folks.